All right, guys, today we have a real special guest in the house. He has been in so many legendary movies, from American Me, Selena, Mi Vida Loca, and more. We're going to get into that. He's a musician, and not just that, but he's a really good brother. I'm talking about the one, the only, Panchito Gomez.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, Panda man.
How you doing today?
I'm good, brother. A little burned out. You know, I had a birthday weekend, so
oh man, happy birthday, 60th, right?
Thank you. 60, brother. You only turn 60 one time, but I feel 25 sometimes. But after that 25, you can feel a 60 plus. your body be telling you shit that you used to do, but you can't do no more. But you did it, but then you regret it.
Right, the recovery ain't the same, huh?
Nah, my nigga, you don't even know, kid. But it's been good. It's been good, man. I've been chilling here. You know, I had a great birthday. I got my brother in town. But everything's good, man. First and foremost, I want to thank you for inviting me to your wonderful show. All bullshit aside, I've been a fan of yours for a long, long time. Didn't even realize that you and my boy are like this. So I was like, that's mad cool. And then, you know, we finally met face to face. We've spoken a few times. And, you know, man, you're a good man. And I appreciate you having me, brother.
Thank you so much, man. I'm so excited to have you here today, so I can give you the best interview you've ever done. Trust me, we're going to get the real in-depth right here and let the people know you better than they ever have.
You're probably going to be one of the only ones that will know a lot of shit that a lot of people don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm excited, man. So, Panchito, where were you raised?
Raised in New York, in the Spanish Harlem and in the Bronx. So I'm a boogie down boy.
So you get to the boogie down first? Is that right?
No, Spanish Harlem. Spanish Harlem. I was raised in Spanish Harlem.
Okay, so you got to Spanish Harlem.
In the barrio, 112, between 112 and 115, and then we moved to the west side for a little bit on Columbus Avenue, which where I spent most of my elementary school days, and then we moved to the Bronx. And from the Bronx, I was here till I was 13, 14.
So you're growing up in the 70s, is that right?
Yes, sir. Late 60s, early 70s.
Okay. And did you have any siblings at the time?
Yeah, I got two sisters and I got my older sister, Anna, who lives in Manhattan still with her beautiful husband, her beautiful family, Ernest. If y'all watching, God bless. And then my little sister lives in the Bronx, still off of Theory with her husband and family. And then my little brother, who is a retired Navy officer, he lives in Virginia with his family.
Okay, and how was the household growing up? Was it very traditional?
Pretty much, it's, everybody, we all looked out for each other. You know, my dad was a little crazy motherfucker. My stepdad, he raised me since I was 2 or 3 years old. Loved him to death. He was also an actor, but, he went through a lot of stuff, but he always made sure we had a roof, food. My mom was off the chain. She still is. God bless her. You know, she's 86 years old and she's still kicking. The household was good, man. You know, we went through our little things here and there. The fact that I was the aunt and the breadwinner of the family, I didn't know that then. You know, I was a kid. So it didn't bother me, but, we protected each other to all costs till this day.
Gotcha. Okay. So what happened with your real dad?
My real dad I met when I was like, I don't even know, like 40, 50, 40 something. He's around, I talked to him. He's a good dude. He's a very good, very nice guy. What happened between him and my mom happened. And, I didn't hold it against him. Didn't hold it against my mom. They were young, and, I kind of stayed out of that a little bit, but, we talk a lot. I have other siblings from his side that I see all the time. And I talk to all the time. We get along very well. It's like nothing. It's just, it was just shit that happened. You're talking the 70s, 60s, shit happened.
And what did your mom do for work?
My mom was actually she worked for the, she was a seamstress in New York back in the day, a factory worker basically. And she wound up becoming, a head seamstress. She's a great dressmaker and wardrobe maker. She did that for a living. And then after that, she was basically traveling with me because as a child actor, you need an adult, a parent, excuse me, to travel with you because of the labor laws. So she basically, took care of the family. But when it came to me, working as an actor, whether it was in town, because we moved to Los Angeles, I didn't get to that part yet. But we had moved to Los Angeles, my mom and I, early in, I want to say like 76. Well, we didn't really move there. I went to finish off a movie. And we wound up staying. So then the rest of my family came over. So she basically traveled with me all the time. And that was my baby. That was my mom. She was. I keep saying was. We just fucked up, but she is.
So as a child, like what kind of child would you say that you were? Like, were you really into sports or music?
Bro, I was into everything, man. You know, I was into boxing. I love baseball, fucking music, acting. I love, a lot of people used to say, a lot of these young child actors were forced upon becoming actors because of their parents. Not at all. My father was an actor, and that's how I got in the business. And I used to watch him. I was a kid. I used to watch him. I was like, "Fuck, I want to do that one day." And he was in this independent film by himself with a friend of his out of New York, and he put me in a little scene as an extra, so to speak, background. And the guy who was helping him direct, the co-director, he says, "Yo, this sounds pretty good. Let's give him a couple lines in the movie." And next thing you know, they let me ad lib shit and pout. And then he asked me again, "Do you like that?" I go, "Yeah, man." So I was into a little bit of everything, And then one thing led to another as far as my career. One of the guys who was producing the movie with him used to work for CTW, which was the Children's Television Workshop, which was Sesame Street, Electric Company, all that stuff. And my career sprung after that little piece of thing, shit kind of movie that my dad was doing that was unfortunately never finished because it was done with illicit money for one, New York shit, hoodlum gangster shit.
So like you were like 4 years old, like when you started showing interest, because I know you were like five, right, when you went to Sesame Street.
I was five and a half when I did Sesame Street. Yeah, I was about 4 or 5. It was about the same time basically because I think it was a summer before I turned 5. So I turned 5 in November, so it was like the summer before, so probably 4 and a half. But 4 and a half, 5, you already know some shit. You're coherent to certain things, and not coherent, but your mind as a 4 or 5 year old is different than a 2 year old. You don't remember a lot of that shit. Although I do remember some things, but not a lot. But yeah, I was like, fuck it. I went in. I guess I auditioned against like 1,500 kids for this role, and ended up getting it. And it turned out that it wasn't just one of the regular kids on the show. It was actually a character that was written, and it was in 1971, I want to say. And they were bringing in a bilingual family to Sesame Street. So they brought in one of my mentors and a great friend of my dad's as well. They worked together back in the '60s. A guy named Raul Julia, who played Gomez Adams in the Adams Family's the original movies. Um, Big Broadway star and whatnot. So Raul played my dad, and I played his son Antonio. And I went on that. I want to say like a year, 2 years, something like that. I can't really remember how long. But and then my career progressed from there. You got a little agent, you start doing commercials in New York and blah blah blah, and it progressed from there. But my childhood, man, let me tell you, there were times as an actor, I would go to school, all my homeboys, my little boys from the block, were like, "Yo, man, that's my nigga, man. What's up, Pops?" Blah blah blah. And it was cool. But then you also got the masses that are like, "Oh yeah, you think you bad because you're an actor." So I have to pay. I have to throw bones every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so then like that's a good point that you bring up. So it wasn't like you were just living this sweet life like straight from five
Oh
years
hell
old
no!
or anything, right? Like
Oh hell no, nigga. Mm-mm. By any means not. We were on welfare, for a little while. Food stamps. My dad at the time, and I can say this now without any regrets. He got in trouble with the federal law only because he was affiliated with a group of people that were he was like a front man. He was like the face of that thing, and he took the blunt of it. It was basically what they do now with computers and shit. Taking false credit and all that shit. That's what they were doing. Getting credit cards and blah blah blah. And back then, they didn't have what we have now, where you can catch somebody quick. So basically, it's federal. He got in trouble for falsifying some shit about to secure credit, basically. So when the other guys took off, I was basically a 5, 6, 7 year old runaway from the FBI as well because they were looking for him. While they were looking for him, me and my mom were running around doing TV shows and blah blah. So everywhere I go, even at school, they would follow me, and
wow.
it was scary. But they were looking for. I mean, it wasn't like a fucking major crime. Like you didn't kill nobody and shit. But back then, that was big.
Yeah. So like
So I went through some shit, bro.
did he end up doing some time for that?
Yeah. Once we got to Cali later on, he it was me and my mom first, and then he came out. He was still hiding. My agents would do a lot of shit because they would fucking harass my agent at the time. And like if I was shooting a TV show, they'd be like fucking outside asking producers shit. So and it didn't cost me work whatsoever. But a lot of people were like, fuck, man. Should we hire this kid? His father's on the run, and they didn't need that stuff. But it turned out that once we were in Cali for a little while, he was hiding out, and we were staying at this little hotel. We hadn't had a house yet. We hadn't actually lived in Cali yet. We were just going there. So You know, they caught up to him somehow, and he did not a whole lot of time. You know, he did, put it this way: we didn't have money for his bail. His bail was only like $400 at the time, so he had to do like fucking I don't know how long in county jail in L.A. on top of that. You know, so he did that. Once everything was taken care of, we got some money for bail, got him out. Um, he didn't do his hard time. You know, the worst thing he did, I think, was like maybe between 3 to 6 months in county jail, awaiting the court thing. At the end of the day, all he did was a couple weekends, and he was done.
Gotcha.
It wasn't that big a deal. You know, mind you, we're talking about 15 years, or 10, 15 years after the fact. You know.
So you end up doing like 5 episodes, right, on Sesame Street?
I went, I could have sworn it was more, but it probably, but then those 5 episodes, you gotta remember, them shits, it was like bam, 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 bam. It was 5 episodes, but it weren't all at once. That's why it felt like a long time.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
from what I remember.
So what was like the pay like during that time? Because you said that you guys struggled to pay for your dad's bail, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, mind you, my dad's bail was all that shit came out much later after Sesame Street. This I was already like in my early, like my 12, 11, 12. But Sesame Street, I asked my mom one time. It wasn't that much back then. It was maybe like $100 a show or some shit like that back then, if that. If that, I mean, and mind you, there's no residuals. But we get now the royalties. At that time, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
And at Sesame Street, they never reran them shits. And to this day, they don't rerun them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I mean, it's nuts. I guess because it's not live, but it's educational for one. And it's constant. It's constant. They might rerun them every once in a while, but not the old ones. Maybe like newer ones. And I just found out the other day that they're changing their format or something. I don't know. It's been a long time. To be honest with you, the only 2 surviving members of that cast right now is myself and Sonia Manzano, who played Maria. Everybody else that we started with has passed away. Unfortunately.
So after Sesame Street, you're doing like a bunch of like commercials. Is that right? In like smaller parts.
Oh man, I did so many commercials. Bro, I can't even remember. I did commercials for Peter Paul candies. I did a commercial with Willie Mays for Tab Soda. I did a commercial with Joe Garagiola, ex-baseball player, for the life insurance thing. I did one of the biggest ones I did was a thing called the Bowery Savings Bank. It was one of the biggest banks in New York at the time, and Joe DiMaggio was the spokesman for them. Right? So I did like 4 of those with Joe, and he was my hero. He's a Yankee Clipper, man. I was a Yankee. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm from the Bronx.
Right.
I was like, yeah, man. And not only was it a TV commercial, it ran like a mother, like crazy. And then we had newspaper ads. When you go to the subways in New York back then, I would go to school on the train. I was like, and my mom would look at me. She was, don't look, because people were looking at me and looking at the poster, and it was us on the subway, a picture of the show. And my mom was like, okay. And people were like, damn, that looks like that kid. It was funny though. It was crazy. And I was like, man, I'm on the train. Now that in retrospect, when you think about it, it was surreal. I was a kid. What the fuck do I know? I look, I said, oh shit, what am I doing in the train?
So after that, you were in so many different TV series and movies. It was like back to back. So what was that experience like for you as a child at that time? Did you feel excited, or you felt like you were missing out on your childhood because you were working?
A little bit of both, man. It was exciting. It was fun because I liked what I did. But there were times of, fuck, man, I wanted to hang out with my boys. There was that when I was like 15, 16, I joined Rocksteady, right? The Rocksteady crew in New York. But it got to the point where I wasn't doing the rehearsals. We weren't doing our shit. So they didn't oust me, but I was like, I don't remember at the time. But those are the things that you for. But then again, I liked what, like I'd get a call, say, oh, you got to shoot tomorrow. I'd be like, yeah, man. If it was a 6 o'clock in the morning call, I'd be in bed by 8. I was up at 4:30, just excited, ready to go to work. So it went both ways,
So you definitely felt like happy about what you were doing, but at the same time, there were times that you felt that you didn't want to do it, or that you would rather be doing something else.
No, I mean, not that I didn't want to do it. I loved that more than anything else. But it's like a kid. It's like if it's raining and you got a baseball game, it's like, fuck, man, I was hitting the rain, but you can't do nothing about it.
Gotcha.
And that was the case. And there were times like during like Christmas time, or like the summer. When we lived in Cali, my sisters and brothers would go to New York and stay with my grandparents, but I was doing a movie or a TV show, so I couldn't go. I'm like, fuck. But I would still have fun doing my shit, But I miss hanging out with my boys.
How was like your family reacting to your success? Like, was your siblings happy for you, or did they feel some type of way that you were being?
No, not at all. On the contrary, they were always positive. They were always proud of me. You know, my little brother was like the biggest fan of mine. My sisters were like, yeah, that's my brother. My sister was like, her friends were like, hey, your brother's cute and this and that. And she's older than me, right? Especially my older sister. Yeah. She goes, wow, how blah, blah, blah. My sister, man, you just step the fuck back. Step off. And then she did have one really, really cute friend that I really liked a lot too. I was like in my ninth grade and shit. My sister was in 11th. She was 2 grades out higher than me. I'm like, Anna, hook me up with your friend. She was, no, you better stop.
So,
But no, they never, to this day, man, they're the proudest brothers and sisters. Even my siblings, my biological siblings from my dad, or my real dad, biggest fans of mine, and I appreciate that. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just a person. You know, the difference between my job and theirs is that actually they really get paychecks now. You know, as an actor, you work here, you work there, you don't work, you don't. Right now we're on strike. I ain't getting shit. None of us are working. Prior to that, you know, it's hard to get it, especially as being an Hispanic or an actor of color, so to speak, an ethnic actor. The jobs were few or far between. You're either a gang leader or fucking, you know, a little Mexican runaway, thief, you know, all that shit. So they didn't write as much. Now, God, thank God, you know, you see some of us Hispanic actors, black actors, Asian actors. We're actually playing doctors, lawyers, cops. You know, the opposite, which is better. You know,
right,
we broke
right.
that mold finally.
And so, like, for your dad, did he stop? Did he stop acting at that time?
No, on the contrary, well, he did for a little while. He was my manager, agent. He made sure that, you know, nobody fucked with me as far as, you know, my money. He made sure that my billing, which is most important for a lot of actors, which is where your name comes in the credits. He made sure that I was right on there, not just, you know, Joe Schmo in the back of a film because I was Latino, blah, blah, blah. So he and I had a great agent, a guy named Ray Rappin out of LA. They were both, he was Italian. And it turned out that him and my dad served together in Korea. They didn't know that until later. And they were friends. And both of them together, man, they fucking fought for me. So, you know, he did that most of his time. But then, you know, he's a character actor. He's one of the greatest Puerto Rican character actors of his day. He was in the movie Scarface. He played the cook in the beginning of the film. When Tony Montana and Manolo, just before they start doing their shit, the sandwich shop. He did a play in 1963 before I was born with Al Pacino. Him and Al Pacino have been like this, were like that forever.
Wow.
A play called Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? So him and Al go back a long time. I remember Pacino when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. I used to come to the house all the time. They used to smoke cigarettes like crazy, listen to oldies, chill out. My mom would cook. And this is before any of those guys were big. So my dad, like I was saying, as far as the ethnic actors, you know, it was worse for them in the 50s and 60s. You know, he's from the original cast of West Side Story, on Broadway and the film. So he was a great character actor. I mean, he did a lot of TV stuff, Kojak, Beretta, the A-Team. You go back to a movie with Stallone called Nighthawks, Carlitos Way, of course, with Pacino, Scarface, um, all kinds of great dude, man, great actor. And but you know, I pretty much sometimes, you know, he not that he gave up his career. He was stern, and he dealt with a lot of producers and directors and casting directors on my behalf. So I personally, later on, I thought about it, you know, and I was like, damn, man, you know, he put himself on the line for me. And, you know, he lost a lot of work because, you know, people say, fuck, man, Caesar's a tough motherfucker. I don't want to work with that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So, but you know, he put to the end. He retired. I want to say he died at 80, 85. He died 2 years ago. And he retired a few, like maybe I want to say 10 years prior to that. You know, he lived a good life. You know, he's a good man. But you know, he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. You know, he would read with me all the time. When I was a kid, I didn't know about, you know, learning lines and stuff like that. I knew once you tell me these things, my reaction would be, he would explain to me what the character was like. What if this was you? How would you say this? That's shit like that. Raul Julia told me the same thing. Worked with another great actor named Jose Ferrer, who was the first Oscar winner, first Latino Oscar winner ever, back in the 70s. I did my very first movie with him called Paco. And just the same teachings. Well, how would you be this person? So basically, whatever the character was that was written, you know how they write characters, that's what they want them. But you got to put your own fucking sazon in it.
Right,
You got
right.
to put your own fucking, you know, hot pepper or hot sauce or whatever. So, you know, that's how I learned to do my shit. I said, okay, this is how, if I was, you know, give me something to say right now. When I say, Panchito, how would you say, you know, sir, give me the money. I mean, yo, my man, give me the fucking money. That type of shit. Not in those words, you know what I'm saying? If you make that character yourself. And that's why I learned from my father, from a lot of the great actors that I worked, Charles Bronson. I mean, yeah, you go names and names and names. And I don't name drop, but those are people that, you know, so I'm sure that on your list you got a question coming up if I ever went to acting school. Am I correct?
No, that I didn't. But I understand what you're
Okay,
saying though. Like you give it a walk,
that was my
you
acting
give them
school.
a walk, you give them a
That was my
talk and
acting school.
everything like that. The character, right?
Right. My acting school was job on, work in progress. Not on the job training,
Mm.
basically. That's how And I'm not saying I'm the greatest of actors. I assume I'm good, and I thank the public for all the. Yeah, I got a lot of good fans, and that obviously tells me that my work has meant something, and that it did something to put your mind and say, wow, this dude is cool, And they see that you were with me in LA. You saw the shit we went through for a little bit there at that one show with Metal Man. People I didn't even know, like, yo, dude, what's up? And it was good. It felt good.
Yeah. So how was the market for Latinos in Hollywood during that time that you were coming up as a child, right? You mentioned that there was very limited roles that were written at that time. You be a gangster, you be
Yeah, it was like, what's this what Hollywood saw Latinos, that you were either an Indian, or just like the third banana, or you were either a little hustler. And not only the young kids, even the older actors. Like I said, with my dad, there was a whole bunch of great actors that took them a while. And it wasn't like now. Now you see Benicio del Toro, God bless him, a good friend of mine. He's playing white dudes and nobody even knows. The fact that he's Latino, it don't matter. Back then, those roles wouldn't be, they wouldn't be available to us. And I did a movie called Tough Turf. The character was written for a little fat white guy, and I was doing, yeah, and I was doing a series for HBO, which was actually the first TV series that HBO did. That we ended up getting canceled. That we got picked up for 13 episodes. We got canceled after the fifth, after we did like 8 episodes because they thought it was too raw, and it was about prison. So years later, they come out with Oz, where you got dudes. I don't know if you remember the TV show Oz.
yeah.
It took place in jail, and well, you got guys sucking dick and all that shit. So they thought Oz was bad. It wasn't even nowhere near that. So anyway, make a long story short, I was doing fuck, what's the name of it? Maximum Security. And my agent had called me and said, hey, listen, these guys want to meet you for this film. And I said, hey, so I'm working for 3 days. Hey, Alan, you already know. He goes, I can set him up for a lunch break. So I went out there, I went to Paramount Studios all the way from East LA, where we were shooting at prison. And I had a Porsche at the time, so I fucking broke every law. And I was still wearing my prison outfit from the show. I go into Paramount Studios and they look at me, what the fuck? I go over, meet with the people. I look at the sides, I'm like, there's really nothing in this for me. And the guy tells me, he goes, I want you to read this part, Mickey. And I said, all right, cool. Actually, and then I looked at it and I just said that and I go, okay. He goes, you know what? Don't even read. I know you got to work. Are you available next? Blah, blah, blah. I said, talk to my agent. So I didn't read for the movie. Didn't do nothing. Got the part. We ended up shooting 4 weeks. Graded one of the most fun times I had. I was like 18, 19. So you can imagine back then, early 80s. Robert Downey was in the movie, James Spader, Kim Richards, myself, Katya Sassoon, Olivia Barish, and Michael Wiley, and Paul Morris. We were the 5, 6 stars that. And we were young, man. So it was Robert Downey's very first movie. He's fucking living in my house for like 3 weeks because he was living in New York, but they put him up in a hotel. But my mom being the mom she is, everybody was coming to my house for the food and just chilling. So it was, like I said, that role was written for a little white kid. And then I did another thing called fuck, I can't remember what it was. It was written for non-specific, wasn't even a Latino character. A pharmacist. It was an Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It was a remake of the old Alfred Hitchcock thing. And it was written for this young, I guess, white kid. His name, I can't even remember the character's name. It was weird. It was an Anglo name. And the guy who directed that, I didn't even read for it. I didn't even know. I just got a call. My agent and said, hey, listen, you're going to work for 2 days on this, and that, Universal. I'm like, all right, cool. Money was good. The bidding was good. I go to read for it. No, they sent me the script. I was like, oh, okay. It was like 3 good scenes. And shit like that. So it started becoming a little more available for and depending on who you were too, because there was a lot of roles I was offered. Like, oh, yeah, can you come play this gangster? The money's like this, but the billing's gonna be here. I'm like, cool, thank you, but nah. So I try to shy away from that,
Right.
And then later on, you have Issa Marat. Huh?
You wanted to show your range that you could do so much more.
Yeah, as a child, okay, cool, I get it, but it's blah blah blah. And that's all, corporate Hollywood or Hollywood saw at the time, as far as kids, playing an Indian kid. I played a lot of Native Americans, which is cool because my mom's from Ecuador, so she's native. I mean, she's indigenous, so to speak. You know, she's an Inca. She's an Inca from the Inca tribe. You know, South America. So I have some of that in me, and I have no problem. You know, and then you got to this day, you still have certain things. But what you see now on TV, thank God you didn't see that in the 80s. You didn't see George Lopez. You didn't see fucking Chico and the Man was probably one of the only ones back then. You don't see now you have these things like on HBO or Hulu and what do you call it? Tubi, like this great show called Gentified, American Made in Love or something like that. My friend Constance Marine's in. Now you have the new George Lopez. All that wasn't available for us then. And thank God, we're trying to break barriers, and we still are. We still are. Believe it or not, it's not an easy path. It's not an easy road.
Right. So I was going to say to you, though, like, I noticed throughout your career, you did like a lot of indie stuff. And I feel like you kind of laid the brickwork for Hollywood to get to this point for minorities like Latinos, And I think that's just amazing because, like you said, like you guys didn't have those things, and you were a part of providing that representation for Latinos. Right?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I never really realized it, but now you say it's true. It wasn't planned that way. It just happened. And indies are indies. Like you said, a lot of big Hollywood productions. They were not that they were shy of hiring. They, not only that, there's budgets for all kinds of characters, all kinds of. Let's say, I come in and do this show and I turn it down because they offered me, $10,000 a week when their budget's like 40,000 for that character. So they'll give fucking Johnny Come Lately, who's a big Yango, so they'll give him that 40, but they won't give it to me, who has done more work or can do that role better, only because they're trying to fucking minimize their budget. Because I'm Hispanic or black or Asian. They're trying to. But that's one of the things, like I said, my father and my agent fought for, and thank God, a lot. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've gotten this message from a bunch of really good actors friends of mine. Isa Morales is one of them, who's on did La Bamba, who's in NYPD Blue. He's on the new Mission Impossible movie. Another kid named Ramon Franco, who was on did Tour of Duty for many years. They all call me every week. We've been friends for years. And yo, Pops, man, thank you for that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, bro, if it wasn't for you and your agent and your fucking crazy ass dad, none of us would be getting this kind of money that we're getting now. Or these the accolades that we're getting now. And I guess I don't know if I broke them over. And no offense, I love John Leguizamo. John's a good friend of mine too. But I opened the door for a lot of the people, and and it sucks for me to say it that way, but some recognize, some don't. And to be honest, I don't give a shit. I'm just glad that they're working, and that it's been a while. I retired for a little while. I'm just getting back into things now. I raised my family. I lost my wife 4 years ago, as you already know. So I took that time off, but now it's my time again. I'm like, instead of getting stuck in a rut and depressed and, doing all kinds of stupid shit that I used to do back in the 80s, I'm like, you know what? Let me slowly get back into shit. So I'm producing this film, co-producing an indie, again, as you said, with basically little to no money. And it's got a really good cast. And, little by little, trying to open them doors again. And if it doesn't happen, man, I'm still happy with what I've done in my life.
Right.
I got a lot of good friends.
Still a part of history for what you contributed. And I think that's amazing because when you look at it, especially during the time period that you were growing up in, it wasn't like you turned on the TV and you saw a lot of representation. And when you turn on the TV and you see somebody that looks like you,
and it's like, yeah, let's go, motherfuckers.
Not just that, but it shows you that you can do something that is out of the ordinary, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of times it's kind of like you're like, oh, this is what the people that I see that look like me are doing these type of jobs. So then you kind of limit yourself, especially when you come from the inner cities. That it's like a lot of less opportunities. So I think that's great when you were able to do that, and for the next generation to come up and see, hey, I can do that now.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like you said, when I was a kid, we didn't realize that much. We did, but we didn't. As I grew older, even in my mid to late teens and in my early 20s, that's why I said, you know what, man, fuck that. Let me try and get away from shit. Let me. I turned down roles. The other friends of mine got, thank God, at least some of people were working that I just didn't want to do, even though the money might have been okay a little bit. I just was like tired of doing the same shit. You know, I'm doing an episode of Teacher Hooker. I play this gamer. Then the next month they call me to do an episode of 100 playing game. Oh no, no, come on! I just fucking finished doing that shit. The fuck, you know?
Right. So, like, at what point do you move over to LA for a while?
We moved over to LA. It was a fluke, like I was saying. I had done a movie, my second feature film. I was a kid. We had shot it in Kentucky. And I want to say I was like maybe 11, 10, 11, something like that. So the movie was finished, and apparently when they cut it, when they edited it, there was stuff missing. So 2 years later, a year and a half later, they decided they want to reshoot stuff. Now, mind you, I didn't grow that much. I'm still fucking, a little guy. But, I had longer hair back then. My hair was a little shorter. Because, now I'm cutting my hair a little bit. My grandmother would cut my hair, shit like that. So they decided they want to do some pickup shots and fly me out to LA with me and my mom. And that's when I FBI shit. So we go out there. When we basically stayed in LA, I want to say I was eighth grade.
Wow.
So what's that, like 14, 13, 14? 76, put it that way. It was 1976 when we first went. So by 77, that's when we decided to just fuck it and stay. My father had got caught. He did all his shit. Then my sisters and brothers came out, and that's where we planted lives. And from eighth grade on, I went to high school in Cali. I went to Burbank. I lived in Burbank. I went to John Burroughs High School, one of the greatest fucking experiences of my life. Man, my high school years were the fucking bomb. I don't regret anything. And I was doing Hill Street Blues at the time, too. So, I was working. So all my high school buddies, I was playing baseball in high school. I was one of the baddest motherfuckers there, too. But all my boys, and it was a predominantly Anglo school. There was like one black kid there and maybe like 3 or 4 Chicanos. And, I'd go to school, and every Thursday night for like, a few years, I was on TV every Thursday night. So I go to school Friday, and I goes, yo, man, so what happens next? I'm like, I can't tell you that shit. But it was cool. But, they treated me like, okay, mind you, this is California, so they used to seeing actors in school and shit like that, especially the kids. But they treated me like nothing. Like I was just, one of the boys.
Panchito, don't lie. Don't lie. You telling me that you didn't get some premium pussy off of being on TV?
Oh, nigga, you didn't. That question was not asked. I didn't answer that question. That question was not asked, motherfucker. I won't say premium. I would say plenty.
Plenty. Okay.
But you know what? They go that word again, humble. I'm quiet, dude. I was cool. I was like shy. But, sometimes, you get these girls that are really aggressive, and you're like, oh, shit, I got scared, fuck. But I have my share of girlfriends.
Right.
2 at a time in the same school, and 2 at a time in other schools and shit. And then when I was playing baseball, we played against this one school. My girlfriends would come from my school, and like, what the fuck is going on here? But then, I had my actress girlfriends type shit, people that were in the street. I mean, it was funny because it was like, not too many Hispanic girls. And slim pickings, bro, but they were good pickings.
Yeah.
But no, I had fun.
So I was going to ask you, was that like kind of like a culture shock? Because here you are, you're Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian, right? You're from New York, Spanish Harlem in the Bronx, and then you come to California. It's a
nothing but Mexicans.
Right, nothing but Mexicans. It's Chicano culture. The slang is different. The Spanish is a little different. What was that like for you?
It was nuts because when I did a movie called Walk Proud in one of those years. So that's when I first met Chichi, Angel Salazar. It was one of his first movies. And it was Robbie Benson. And Robbie Benson and I went to school together in New York when I was a kid. I went to a school called Lincoln Square Academy. And it was basically predominantly for children of, that were in the movie industry, music industry, or kids of baseball players and all that shit. Kids that travel a lot. It was a professional school, like PA, like High School Performing Arts, like the Fame School. So anyway, I go to Cali, I'm doing it, and the caterers there were Mexicans. And I just, I didn't know shit about it. I didn't know what a taco was, man. The guy says, he tells me, my mom knows I don't eat vegetables. And I said, she just knows something with just meat. And the guy goes, no, I'll give him a taquito. And I'm like, Ma, listen, what the fuck is that? She goes, don't worry about it. I just want carne, man. I just want meat and bread, like a sandwich. So the guy says, well, I'll give him a tortilla. And I go, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what a tortilla was. I didn't know what a taco was. The language was different. Not the language, the dialects. But in the interim, I learned a lot, and it was a whole, even with the white kids over there, there were white kids said, what's up, homeboy? I was about to fight him. Because I thought he was calling me like a homely boy. Like, I'd never come out. I go, my man, I'm out here riding my bike. What the fuck are you talking about, a homeboy? I didn't know what that meant. Fucking 12 years old, 13 years old, fucking fresh out of New York. The fuck do I know what a homeboy is back then? No, I wasn't even know. It wasn't even that. I was like maybe 11 or 12. You know, and that's what they called each other over there in Cali, homie, homeboy. And it was only not the white dudes. I mean, the Spanish guys, it was the white guys. And then, you know, being from New York, and if I offend anybody by saying this, I apologize. The N word was, you know, that's what we grew up with. You could be Asian, you could be black, you could be fucking albino, you could be fucking whatever the fuck. Yo, my nigga, what's up, my nigga? And that wasn't a bad thing. That was like saying, yo, my brother. I didn't know that. I get Cali, I called her, yo, I told this Cali, yo, what's up, nigga? He looked at me, you got pissed, you ready to fight? He goes, nah, I ain't a nigga.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a culture shock. You learn things. And I'm like, all right, okay, I get it now. And it was like a schooling as well, you know what I'm saying? It was like something that wasn't expected, especially from kids my age. You know, in New York, where we grew up, that was common. You know, you go out there and you see, like you said, different environments. It was a culture shock.
The racial tension is more big in LA versus like in New York, where it's like, I feel like,
oh, hell yeah,
when you grow up in New York, especially amongst blacks and browns, there's a lot more times it's viewed as we're kind of one and the same, right? And then, yeah.
I had white kids in New York that were friends of mine that are actors. Scott Bale, crazy ass motherfucker now. The dude named Anthony Anton. They were the first, and they was white as a fucking like a fucking piece of paper. They were like, "What's up, nigga?" You know, and that was common. And it was like now, you know, the Eminem stuff, no knocking the end because he's a good dude. But all that shit now, it's like, you know, it's the hip hop game, the hood shit, the wannabe shit. No, back then it was just like me. I call you all the time. What's up, nigga? You know, I watch who I say it to now only because I don't want to offend anybody. But my brothers, my boys, you, Cuban, Pun, all them brothers, it was the thing. You know, some of the girl actresses, you know, Jennifer, what's up, my nigga? You know, I'm talking about Jennifer Lopez back in the day, and I go, what's up, Mami Chula?
Whoa, okay, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that in a little bit, okay? You skipping ahead. But I was going to say, because I heard this interview, you were talking about, like, the boys from Hazard, right? They put you up on game, and they kind of got you prepared for some of these roles that were more in the Chicano style. Mm-hmm. So can you talk about that?
When we did American Me, the boys from Hazard were mad cool. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, a gangster's a gangster, and I'm not going to be, and they're the first ones to be proud to say shit like that. We went out there. I was already living in LA. I was living in Orange County with my ex-fiancée, Melissa. And her family, she's Chicana, but she was like, she didn't really speak too much Spanish, green eyes, beautiful, her family. But her cousins all were involved in gang activity in Santa Ana. So when I got the script for American Me, I already knew my shit, but I wanted to be a little more authentic as well. But I already hung out with these guys. So when we went to I said, I said, yo, can we hook up with some of the, can you hook me up with some of the boys out there? Don't worry about pounds. So I go to Hazard, and dude, let me tell you, fucking, a lot of people you know, I don't know, they judge people. Yes, I get it. The gangsters, killers, some of them. But deep down inside, they're products of their environment. And that's all they know. But they're good. A lot of them have good hearts. Good people. I won't say good hearts. You know what I'm trying to get to, right? They're good people deep down inside. They just express it in their, you know, it's survival of the fittest over there.
Right.
But as soon as I read with them, I told one of the dudes, one of the big boys, I said, listen, I'm going to sit down with you, and you tell me if I sound authentic Chicano. And as soon as I opened my mouth, I said, dude, don't say no more. I said, you good, homie. And all right. But they, you know, they schooled me on a lot of crazy shit as far as, you know, not school me, but we talked a lot. I gained their confidence in the sense that we would sit in my dressing room, and I would allow all the niggas in my room. I had this big old trailer, right? And it was Eddie Olmos' trailer when they were filming, right? When he played the older Santana. So his dressing room, JD's dressing room, and Mundo's dressing room, the big fucking motorhome things that were theirs when they were shooting, belonged to us when we were younger, the younger crew. So I had my room filled, 3 cases of Corona, 2 bottles of tequila, shitload of weed, mad blunts, you know? So anybody came in, free, you know, hang out, come on. Just watch what you do. You know, and I mean, you're not going to stop a hood rat from what a hood rat's going to do, regardless. You know? So better keep it under control than under not, you know, in an uncontrolled environment.
So the movie American Me is probably the role that you're most known for, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
because I was with you at Urban Con and you were
That's Selena.
yeah, so I was with you at Urban Con and you were signing pictures and taking pictures and people was like, "Yo, it's Santana, it's young Santana." Right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So how did you get that role and what was that like playing that role?
That role was actually written for me by Edward James Olmos, and it was in the making for years. American Me was originally opted by Universal, and Al Pacino had the role. I mean, the script. He had the option to do it. I don't know what happened. After a certain amount of time, your option expires. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything. You know, your milk expires after a certain amount of time. So his option expired, and Eddie was waiting for it because it was based upon the mafia. Damn it. So when Eddie got it, um, it took him a couple of years to get it to how he wanted it because you know a lot of rewrites, and then all the shit he had to do to go through the Mexican mafia to get to Folsom Prison, to get their permission to the film, and blah blah blah. So when he got the script, he already knew who he wanted. It's kind of fucked up for me to say, but it's not. It was kind of precast already in a sense. He knew who he wanted for what roles and why not. A couple of people that he really wanted. One had passed away, so he moved on. But either way, there was everybody who was anybody, and I've known Edward almost since I first went to LA. So I was like, what, 11, 10 years old. Is a godfather to me. Him and his family took me and my mom and my dad in a sense. You know, not living, but you know, they looked out for us when Eddie was nobody yet. He was doing Zoot Suit. So I get the script for that, and I got a script for another movie called Bound by Honor at the same time. And Eddie and I had spoken about American Me for years, and you know, he was telling me, and not only him, me, we would go and hang out a lot. He and I and a couple other actors, and just, yo, this is gonna happen, blah blah blah, and we, you know, it's gonna take a little while, but get ready, guys, and blah blah blah, and so forth. So once it happens, he calls and he makes his rounds, and he calls as much and says, okay, it's in the works. Universal's got this. We're gonna it's 100%. Let's go. So be ready. So I'm like, all right. He calls me about 3 weeks later. He says, did you get that? And I go, what? I already have the script for American Me. I already know it. Now, mind you, a lot of shit changed in between. So he goes, did you get that other thing? And I'm like, what other thing? He goes, Taylor Hackford's thing, which was Blood and Blood Out. And I said, yeah, I got the script, but I read the first 5 pages, and he goes, throw that shit away. He goes, put that in the back burner. Sorry. And the thing was like this big. It was like the Bible, man. Like the New Testament. It was so fucking long. And I was offered any role I wanted to at the time. It was Disney and Hartford. And Hartford told me, Panchito, any character you want in this is yours. I just want you to move. I'm like, cool. No negotiations, not like that. Long story short, Eddie calls me and says, don't bother. And I started reading the thing. And then I looked, I said, Eddie, there's a lot of similarities. He goes, yeah, because they stole from our script. And what happened was one of the writers that was working with American Me in the beginning got canned. And so he went to Hartford and Universal, and he pretty much co-wrote some of their movie. If you see the movies, they're kind of similar, except one is more theatrical and one is real. The other one's more caricatures. To me, and no offense to any of the Blood and Blood Out guys, because 90% of those people are my friends. To me, not knocking the movie, it just was it was different. It was more exaggerated. And it had a younger cast, so to speak. So it got more popularity. I can't say for sure than American Me, but you know, it's a big difference. So when I got American Me, I negotiated 7 times to the film. And I thought I was going to lose it, you know, money. And I would call Eddie, he would call me, well, okay. He goes, no, tell him no. Again, goes back to what I was saying about certain characters have certain budgets for films, right? So there was a big budget for that character, for my character. So the company, Universal, even though it's his movie, they wanted to, minimize their budget. So Eddie goes, fight, nigga, fight. And I said, all right, bet. Yo, I went 8 times. Fought, turned the movie down 8 times. When I finally gave in, I said, fuck it, man, I'm throwing in the towel, let's do this. I got a shitload of money, but then when I told Eddie, he finally said, he starts laughing, he goes, I heard it. I go, yeah, he goes, you had 3 more rounds to go if you wanted to. I said, you tell me, you could have got another 3 rounds and still probably got more. And I was like, wow, but he wasn't allowed to tell us. He wrote it, produced it, but the money belonged. It was Universal's money. But I wanted to get in the role. I knew I was going to get it anyway, but it was tough because I'm playing two characters. I'm actually playing the real Cheyenne, the real Mexican mafia leader Santana, and I'm also playing Eddie. So I got to watch what he does because they started filming prior to us. Even though we did a lot of cast readings and stuff, and we spent a lot of time together, all of us as characters and actors, to get to get a feel of what who was going to do what. But you don't really know shit until you start filming. And once you start filming, that's when you see what this person does on the side. Because I'm not gonna. Ed Ramos is not gonna change his acting ways to adhere to me or me to him, so to speak, or anybody for that matter. You know. So since they started filming first, we had to watch a lot of the film, the three younger guys, which was cool because he said, "Do your own shit." But like some of these movements that you see, try and emulate those, and that was easy because that's me. I'm a physical person when it comes to acting. I use my hands a lot, or my eyes, or my face, or even subtle shit, and that's what Edward almost does. So the first two scenes that I saw that he'd done, I was like, I got this motherfucker. So the first day we were shooting, he didn't expect it. I smoke cigarettes with my left hand. I'm a lefty. Well, in the film, he didn't really smoke, but he smoked with his right hand. I found that very awkward for me. He didn't know I caught on to that shit. First day, I'm smoking with my right hand. He sees me sitting on the stairs with my judge and smoking with my left, and he's catching up.
So you said that you had to learn like the mannerisms of Edward, right, in order to play the younger version of him. You said like you typically smoke with your left hand, but you had to learn how to do it with your right hand?
Correct. It's funny you did that because I just moved my shit to the side. This is me, right? So I'm watching him, right? And then the way he walked. I don't know if you noticed in the beginning of the movie when you first see the character, my young character walk by. Can't remember which hand it was, right or left hand. Always held it to his side, to his pocket, not in the pocket, but on the side. So he didn't realize I caught all that shit, right? So first day we start shooting, he's cracking up, right? First day I wasn't smoking or nothing. So I did this walk where we go to see JD. I called him up, JD, what's up? Blah blah blah. And he's looking at me from the fire escape. So when he said cut, he looked at me, he called me just and come here. He goes, "You're a chingon." I go, "What?" He goes, "You're a chingon. That means I'm a badass." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I see you. I see you. What are you talking about?" That's what you just did. I go, "What the fuck did I do?" He goes, "A hand on the side." I go, "What about it?" I go, "That's me." So now, mind you, he's playing the real Santana, right? So whatever his mannerisms were, I mean, he probably knew because of some of the guys who talked to him about how the guy reacted or acted. But Eddie's putting his own touch into it. So what does that mean? I play him younger, so when you're a kid, whatever you do as a kid resonates later on as an adult, correct?
Right.
So that's what I did. So whatever Eddie was doing to play him, I had to kind of emulate a little bit. Even the voice. If you listen to the voice, the way I recite my lines and whatnot, I didn't try to go like that. Edward almost tells me. I didn't try to do that, but I try to get. I have a baby voice apparently from what I've been taught. I don't know to this day. So I try to like thicken it just a little bit, and then slowly talk because Edward almost talks very slow. So I had to do all that. So I'm playing him, but I'm also playing Cheyenne Santana. So it was not as easy as a lot of people think, but it was a challenge. It was a challenge. And let me tell you, to this day, I've done a lot of great work in my life. Whether I was in this movie or not, the movie's awesome. I'm proud of the work I did there, in the sense that, that to me that was like one of the biggest challenges as an actor, because I'm playing two people basically, and it's been done. Other actors have done that. You do multiple characters, but to play one person divided by two, so to speak, was hard. But it was fun. Hard but fun.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like the mindset that you had to get in to play that role, right? Because your character, while mischievous at first, is still more innocent than the adult version. So how did you get, he later turns basically because of prison and everything, So how did you get into that mindset to play that character?
Watching him, because like I said, they the first 2 weeks of filming was them, the older guys. we actually had to go to Folsom Prison, the three young guys, and watch them, plus watch film if we didn't go. That came in from while they were up north and we were in LA. All the film that would come in that day to Universal, we would have a screening room just for us, and we would all sit there and take notes. More me than the other two guys because the character was more prevalent, but it was a little awkward. Aside from the fact also that we had to deal with all the crazy shit that was going on in the gang world at the time, you know? We had all them drive-bys. They called the truce between two different gangs up in East Los and Boyle Heights and over with Bell Gardens. I mean, not Bell Gardens, I'm sorry, where Hazard is. You know, and we had those guys working. So, you know, there was a lot of tension. So that made it a little tougher. And it kind of helped me because when you were a kid back in the 60s, apparently, the tension was bad because of the racial shit. I mean, racism exists to this day. But back then, especially with with the Latinos in LA, the Chicanos, and the Pachucos, because remember, his character derives from the Pachucos. You know, his dad and, the Zoot Suiters and shit. So the tension there was that, so we had the tension with the gangs going on and, just the fact that we're shooting a movie about a real life, entity, so to speak. It made it a little more challenging. And it made it better for me because I concentrated on, in between. I'm not a method actor. I'm not one of those guys that fucking gets in the couch and pacing that shit like this. Fuck that. I don't believe in that. Not that it's bad, but that's not me. I'll get into my character. Now, right now, we're doing this shit. You'll say, okay, Panchito, action. I said, right before you say action, you get 3 or 4 seconds. I walk in circles. I've always done this I don't know why, since I was a kid. And when I walk in circles like this, 3 or 4 seconds, not on my mark, and I know where my mark is, and when they say, can't roll it, action, I walk back at that point, now I'm in that character. I just need that first 4 or 5 seconds. Just like, we could be joking right now, right before the scene. Something happened, we're cracking up. And that's all right, cool. That's my little moment. Those 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, I walk in a circle, and people look at me all the time and say, this motherfucker's crazy. Well, shadow box. Start box. Get in that, and my little man, bam, then I'm good. Fuck everything, block everything up, and I'm that person right there. Whether it was that, and Mi Vida Loca was the same thing. Mi Vida Loca was just as crazy. The fact that with Mi Vida Loca, it was a whole different crowd. It was a bunch of youngsters. And we shot in Echo Park too. And, there was a gang, a little split between 2 rival gangs, and we were shooting one neighborhood that we could, if we went, like if there's a little store here, the next store over belonged to that other crew. So, we had to be careful when we were shooting. Same type of thing there. And mind you, I was a lot older then, and I dealt with a bunch of these young cats who were all real gangsters too that were in the movie. And it's the mindset. You put yourself in a position, and everybody's cool and shit. And you start fucking with everybody, but then there's a time where your job that has to get done. Your job has to get done. And I told a lot of it has her as well. The older guys, older than me, the veteranos like they call them, and then the young kids in Echo. I said, look, this is you guys want to, this is a way out for you motherfuckers. Whether you like it or not, but you're in this movie and you obviously like you do. So watch what people do. Learn. Once they say action, once that camera's rolling, fuck all your outside shit. Be that person. Whether it's natural or not. So I'm not a teacher, but if there's any way I can help anybody and school them and not school them in the sense that I'm better than anybody because I'm not. I'm gonna give you advice. If you want to follow it, that's on you. If not, then fuck you. That's all your own.
So what was it like to film in the prison and be surrounded by like real killers? Was that intimidating?
Well, I didn't do it. Was very intimidating. I didn't do the prison stuff, the big prison stuff, but I did the prison stuff, juvenile hall, which was just as bad. You gotta remember, juvenile hall is a breeding ground. It's a training camp. It's boot camp for these young kids, whether you're in the Black Guerrilla family, the Aryan Brothers, the Mexican Mafia, Mr. Familia, MS-13, Latin Kings, whatever the fuck it is. When you're in juvenile hall, you're a soldier. You're an up-and-coming soldier. So these little motherfuckers, and I use that term, just I was using it. Don't mean it that way. 12, 13 years old. There were kids that were like 12, 13 years old that fucking had 2, 3 murders. They didn't go fuck. They were kids, but they were fucking murderers. Burglars, dope fiends. So they were just as bad as the older guys. Juvenile hall was a little, being an adult, it was still a little fucking weary, because prison life is prison life. They have their own ways they have their own laws. They have their own ways of doing things. And it was tough. We were all protected, but still, you gotta have five eyes. Even though they're kids, don't fucking underestimate these little motherfuckers. Same thing with the older guys. When we went to visit, yeah, when we went up to Folsom Prison to visit the old guys, that shit was scary. But you talking about lifers, you know? But these little
People
guys,
with
they don't
like
give a
nothing
shit.
to lose, basically.
They got nothing to lose. They ain't live forever. So what the fuck? It don't matter if I fucking butt fuck you or stab you. I'm still in here and I ain't going out. So let me have my fun while I'm here. That type of shit,
Right. So American Me was a movie that really stood out because of the controversy behind it, right? For many reasons, many different reasons. I got to give you credit because I know you're not no punk, okay? But it takes dedication to do the acting job that you did. And especially in a specific scene that was in Juvenile, right? And it was like, you got this dude that is behind you and he forces himself on you, right? And not here to make fun of you, of course, but that's that's what Cuban would want me to do, but we're not doing that. You know what I mean? But
fuck that nigga, okay. No, not only him, a whole bunch of people. A whole bunch of people.
right.
Here's what that is. At the end of the day, yes, it's a movie. It happened. It didn't happen, but it happens to people in jail. In any kind of system, whether you're in a psychiatric mental ward, whether you're in prison, you're in fucking the army boot camp. I've heard shit like that happen. The Navy, whatever the fact of the matter is, sports, something like that is bound to happen. Maybe, maybe not. The fact of the matter is that it happened, and it happens in the regular penal system. And I don't say penal. I didn't say penal. I said penal.
Right.
Anyway, it's something it was hard to do because that wasn't part of the script when we read it. That came up to us. That came up to myself and Eric Close, the kid that does the molesting, the rape scene. We rehearsed for like 2 weeks. There's a big fight scene. We had stunts, blah blah blah. So sorry, I just had a piece of candy in my mouth. So the day we go to shoot, this was already pre-planned. We did not know this. That was one of the reasons that a lot of the stuff that American Me went down later. Those are situations that happen, and the way this character handled it was like, I mean, I don't know about you, but if that was me in real life, I would have probably done the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it doesn't mean you're a punk, doesn't mean you're a fag. Excuse the expression. I know it's not a politically correct term to use. Doesn't mean that, you can't, whatever the fuck. The fact of the matter is that it happens. So what would you do? I would probably react the same way as a person if that would happen. I got to fight for my shit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you took what you wanted to take. That had nothing to do with me giving it to you or that character giving it. You just came upon it and fucking jammed it. Whether it's male, female. I mean, it happens every day. Women and men on the street. Forget jail. A woman got, unfortunately, there's a lot of women that get physically raped and abducted and beat up. It's nothing. It's nothing that they did to make that happen. So it's what's the word I'm looking for? A fight. What is it?
But there's a different stigma.
Shit.
There's a different stigma when it happens to a man, right? It's like because of the
Correct.
egotistical way of our society. It's like, oh, like you let that happen to you, and you a man. How could you? So it's a different stigma to it.
Correct. So what does his character do? It had nothing to do with him feeling like a bitch. It was like, fuck you. You took my fuck you. I'm getting your ass.
Right.
Which is something I would do. If I gotta fight you fucking me and I got a chance to kick your ass, I'm gonna do it. Whether you fuck me and then you kill me, then you still win. Not you, but the guy. Or don't win. But my personal thing and that character, no, that's not gonna happen without repercussions. So it's something that happens. Like I said, it was a tough scene to do because you think about it as an actor. Like I said, I'm not a method actor, but you think about it. The way it was shot, it looks like something, but it was shot really weird where like the bodies were like this. Like he wasn't even on top of me. He was like across from me, And with the bed was like up in a like a scaffolding type of shit. So the camera was on ladder, on a dolly and a whatever the fuck, I can't remember. Yeah, like a roll dolly. So it looks like we're on the bottom fucking tier. It really wasn't. So the way he shot it, it looks real. So, as a man at the time, I played a kid. it was almost like really being violated. Not for myself only, but for the other actor, Eric Close. God bless him, great fucking actor, great dude. We're still friends to this day, and we talked about it once in a while, and it was like, wow, that shit was kind of weird, wasn't it? But at the end of the day, it's a film, it's realistic, and you cannot, people joke about it, and I get it. A lot of my friends always fuck around. So my answer to them is like, you been in prison? Yeah or no? Okay, cool. How did it feel? Well, turn around, I'll show you. That type of shit. You know? Yeah, fuck it. You gonna fuck with me? I'm fucking way better than you.
You said that it wasn't in the original script, right?
No.
So how did you guys come up with the idea that, hey, we should put this scene
No,
in
we
there?
didn't. It wasn't a we thing. It was a he thing.
Edward.
It was Edward almost and fucking Edward. Yeah, it was Eddie and Robert Young. They already know what the scene consisted of, because the whole fight scene was with the kid. I walk into the prison. The white dude runs the joint, and he's big boss, and he tries it in the alleyway first. This is what's supposed to happen. He tries to kiss the guy. So as soon as he tries to go, pap, fight ensues. Blah blah blah. I wound up fucking killing the guy. That was what the script called for.
But when you found out that this is the scene that's going to happen, what was your immediate reaction?
The day that we started filming, the day of, we stopped production for 4 hours. I told him I'm doing this shit. No, this shit is not. It's not right. And it's not that they convinced me. It was just like it's like if I tell you, you're a vegetarian. I said, yeah, come to dinner. I'm gonna make some vegetables for you. Blah blah. You see all that shit, but then I serve you a fucking big old fucking tomahawk steak at the last minute. And so no, look, come on, man. This is what it is. This is what really is supposed to be. This is what really happened. And it was like, it was a tough thing to take. And I'm like, no, okay, wait, you gotta explain this shit to me again. I said, why didn't you tell me or Eric this before? They put us both aside. And I was like, and we stopped production for like 4 hours, which cost them a shitload of money. And then when it finally came down to the basic nitty gritty of it, the way they had it was a certain way, and that we worked on it together, right there. And I said, all right, so this is okay. I get it because it happens. And one of the reasons he mentioned that was because he wanted it to be a surprise in the sense, as an actor and as a person, as that person that's sitting in juvenile hall or in prison, and that shit comes out. It's a surprise. You don't know what's coming.
Right.
So he wanted those real reactions, which didn't matter because that real reaction was going to come out either way, if it was the fight scene or the rape scene.
But did you feel deceived?
So no, I didn't feel deceived. I felt like, I won't say deceived because he never lied to me about nothing. It wasn't even a lie. It happened. It was just, the fact of, fuck, you throw this shit in my face now, and how do you expect me to react? And he told me, he goes, I expected you to react this way, both of you. And this is why, because he pulled us aside before we started. He said, listen, there's a change in this and blah, blah, blah. And right then and there, I knew something different was going to happen. And I didn't know what it was, because I didn't see the stuntmen anymore. They were there, but they left the set. And he closed the set down. We're in this fucking, was it in juvenile hall? Yeah, it was in an empty, what do you call it, vestibule of juvenile hall in LA. And we talked about, and I just felt like, wow. So when we started doing it, we only did not even a rehearsal. We did a camera rehearsal just for angles and how they wanted to do it, right? So then it comes to the part where, the kid rapes me, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, all right, the crying you see there is real. And the anger that you see in that character, when I killed him, it was real. Only because even though it was a fake scene, or not, it's a movie, even though it happened for the guy, I'm not even thinking about the real guy at this moment. I'm thinking about me as a person. Like if this was happening to me. And so was the other cat. We was like, fuck, man. We had one rehearsal for camera angles and shit. So you got 2 shots of this, and that's it. After that, if it don't work, I'm done. You figure it out. He said, give me 3. I said, I'll give you 3 in case for the close-ups and shit. I got it. We go do this shit. We close the set. I said, I want nobody in this motherfucker. You're talking about major production. The only people in there was Edward, cameraman, the producer Robert Young, and the makeup girl, who's one of my best friends, Didi Altamura. I'll never forget her. She was the only woman I allowed in there. And there was a bunch of them. I kicked all the men out. I told I want everybody off this fucking set. Let me tell you, Edward almost took care of me like if it was my movie. Anytime I was on set, and all 3 of us, Nobody had pull except for us at that time. If we wanted something done, pow, it was done. Like if I said, look, I want my shoe tied, that stupid shit, you know what I mean? I'm just using examples. So I told my one everybody else to say, hey, whatever you want, Panchito. And I talked to Eric. I said, Eric, what you say? He goes, yeah, this is gonna be crazy. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
What was it like for you watching that scene back when you watched the finished movie?
It was hard. It was once we shot it, you could get playback, right? And he said, "You want to watch the playback?" I said, "Come on, watch the playback." I said, "No, I'm watching shit." They all, yeah, I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it. I had the producers, well, Robert Young, Edward Olmos, Didi Altamura, who's one of my best friends, the makeup girl, gorgeous. I'm talking like fucking Amazon #1, fucking fine as fuck. She was in charge of my makeup complete the whole movie. I said, I only want Didi here. And Didi says, "You sure, Ponch?" I said, "Mama, you with me?" Never went out with her, never dated her. We made out, we were good friends. But she was, I trusted her. And there was the script supervisor, nobody was in there. So when they said playback, I said, I'm not watching this shit. And they started crying. And he looked at me and goes, dude, like butter. We only did one scene, one shot, and the other shots were just close up to the faces. That's it.
Wow.
One whole scene, nonstop. It went from the beginning, when the kid jumps on the bed, to when he fucking hits me, and I jump on him. If you notice, there's no cuts. It goes like from here to here.
Right.
It's one big shot. Editing is editing. Except for the stab one when they did the close-up on him. And then me stabbing him on top of him saying, "You motherfucker, blah, blah." Those were two different shots. But that had nothing to do with that scene. That scene was done twice. 1.5 times. And I felt violated, to be honest. As an actor, it took me days.
Yeah, so like, I know that you said that you're not a method actor, but you really put yourself in that role for that part, that scene. Like you were like, this is really happening to me, and this is what I would do.
But the scene, there's a part where the guy, after he does what he does, and he takes his knife and cuts my lip. He said, next time there won't be shit on my dick or there'll be shit on my knife. Well, it almost has a scar right here on his lip, right? And it's very visible. And after I said that was said and done, I said, well, okay, you want me to do this, bro? So you know what? You know that scar you got? As a kid, you don't see it on me. I said, make your scar happen here. And he said, what? Well, when that motherfucker finishes his shit and takes his knife and goes like this, slice me on the, that's when I grab him, because he's got his knife here. And we do it. He said, dude, you're a fucking genius. And it worked out because you'll see his scar, his real scar. And in the movie, the kid gets fucking cut in the, And that just came into my head because, and that's where I cut off that rape part of it. That's when I said, okay, cool. That's when I became a filmmaker as well, like I always do. Not a filmmaker, but, as an actor, you do certain things. And like I said, he gave us 100% free will, free say, and whatnot. And when I mentioned that to him, I said, all right, cool. I said, well, I got a suggestion now. Since the dude just fucking, did what he did with his character, that cut you have on your lip is real prominent, and you guys just started shooting 2 weeks ago. Explain why, you don't have to explain it, but that, it shows what happened as a kid. As one of the battle wounds, a battle wound, basically. It's like getting your ass ripped, you got a cut in your, and that's your battle wound.
So the movie is allegedly based on the head of the Mexican mafia, right? In that particular scene upset a lot of people, and the director, Edward James Olmos, allegedly lied about getting permission to do that scene. That's what is being said, right?
Well, he didn't lie about doing that scene, because that scene was never in the film. I mean, it was never in the script. He just didn't tell them a lot of stuff that was going to happen. They agreed, the Mexican Mafia agreed to the script. We read them the script as a whole cast in a big fucking warehouse. We had the head guy, not the guy that we played because he's been dead for years, but we had Joe Morgan, who was Peg Leg, which was JD, a couple of his lieutenants, and then of course we had the what do you call it? The technical advisors who all were affiliated with the Mexican Mafia at one time, or some way or the other, that were helping with production. What we read to them was good for them. If you look at the movie without the narration and without some of those secrets, then it's a different movie. So they were like, cool, hey, all right, they're doing they're gonna do a movie about us, cool. But If you think about it, you're talking about Edward James Olmos. You're talking about like an Al Pacino. You're talking about a Martin Scorsese type. You're not going to make this movie to glorify something. There's a reason and a thought behind this. And the whole thing about this film is to discourage that lifestyle. To teach these youngsters, look, okay, you bad, you're in the mafia, or you're fucking, Scarface type shit. What happens at the end? There's no means to,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? There's repercussions, and this is what happens. So this is how the mentality of some of those guys were like, cool. That was another reason they were allowed to shoot in Folsom in the yard, because the Mexican mafia ran that shit. So, they were allowed to go film there. And the same thing with Juvenile Hall. Mexican mafia runs that shit too. So that was probably the most prolific scene that pissed them off because of the manhood thing. And they claim it never happened. Other people say it happened or were there. And in spite of that, at the end of the film, 10 people were murdered because of it. There were threats on Edward Olmos' life, on my life, on some of the actors' lives.
Oh, you received actual threats on your life too.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Okay. And here's the ignorance. I'm an actor. I'm playing him, so they can't get to him. So what's the next thing you're gonna do? Oh, get to the nearest motherfucker. It's like, if I can't get you, I'm gonna get one of your family members. And I'm considered, when you look at the movie, not only that, Edward Olmos and I, that's my godfather. And we had done films, after that we did Selena together, we did a play together called A Cold Beer way back in the mid-'80s. So we have history. And the fact that, that should happen. And that was the biggest secret. Then, if you watch the movie, every song on that soundtrack has something to do with a secret of what happened. Why the Mexican mafia got pissed off. Because the whole thing with the kid gets. Then when the drugs go into the system, when the girl goes into the bathroom and drops the balloons through the toilet, slipping into darkness. What does that tell you? That's where it's slipping into the darkness or the dope. So when Pieface gets killed, I'm just a soul whose intentions were good. Pieface didn't mean to be a bad motherfucker. He didn't mean, he just meant well. They asked him to go do something. He said, no, but I know that motherfucker. I hung out with him before. So they said, well, you eat. Pop, they kill Pieface. Another thing that they got mad about.
Wow.
When the kid gets raped, when you hear Rockin' Robin, rockin' the treetop all day long, so the kid's just chilling and that's a Robin. All of a sudden, he's free. He runs the shit. That's what that song is about. So the whole soundtrack of that film bears a lot to do with every fucking hardcore piece of material that was shared through the movie. So at that point, the mafia, not only the Mexican mafia, but for me, every prison gang in every prison, whether it was in California or the North Side, New York, they all got locked down and searched on everything because you know what? Now that's when the COs were like, oh shit, not COs, but the wardens were okay, this is how's happening. So they put them in check. So that pissed them off.
So what is your reaction when people start getting knocked off after the mafia is angered by what happened in the movie?
Fear.
Do you remember like the first time you heard that something was going on with it?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah. First time we heard was when all this shit happened. As soon as the movie opened up, there was fucking, a bunch of shit talking on the street, especially the younger cast. I say younger, but like in their 20s and 30s, they were still on the street. We're like, fuck that bullshit. That's not true. And it went on the news that there was like, a little rise. And then the letters. And then the fact that Joe Morgan had sent the hit on, they put a green light on Eddie Olmos. Straight off. At that moment, I was doing some talks and shit. We went to Juvenile Hall. Jesse Jackson was with us. I'll never forget that day. We went to Juvenile Hall to do like a stop the violence type shit. This was right after the Rodney King shit. And we go to Juvenile Hall and we're doing a speech. And the warden, or whatever they call him over there, came and whispered something to Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson had this look in his eyes. He had big eyes to begin with, Bernie Mac type shit, and they got even bigger. And he pulled Eddie aside, and all of a sudden we cut the interview short. And he said, "We gotta go." I'm like, okay, so we left, and one thing led to another. And then the one that hit me the most, I know that the first one that was killed was a guy named Charlie Brown, I think. who was one of the Mexican soldiers for the Mexican mafia, retired, but you know he was a technical advisor. The one that got me the most, that really hurt to this day, was the young, well, I was a young lady, but the lady that played the grandmother. Her name was Ana Lizagara. Anna was the she was a social worker, anti gang. She worked with the youth to keep them out of gangs, but she was Mexican mafia. You know, she back in her day, her family was infiltrated with the mafia, and she was the one that actually, you know, did a lot of the technical advisory as far as with the drug scenes and how this happened and blah blah blah, authenticized it, so to speak, and gave us a lot of, you know, real stuff during the script writing too that happened. When they got her, she was going to. There's stories about that she came shopping and she was going to weddings. From what I understand, she was going to her mother's funeral. So she was packing her car, and they sent these two guys that had just come out of prison. Their job was, they were on parole, their job was to clean up the show and go back. So they went in the middle of the night when she was getting ready to go to her, I would say middle of the night, whatever. And they fucking unloaded two 245s on her.
Wow.
In front of her house, in front of their grandkids. That would hurt me the most because Anna and I became really good friends. And she was part of the film. She played the grandmother in the movie, the older lady. That you see when they find the kid in the bathtub jumped out.
Yeah.
That's another true story. The whole thing with the Italians was another true story. Shit like that they didn't want. Certain things they didn't want to be known, which is understandable because, you know, Cosa Nostra type shit. But what did they expect him to, you know, to glorify all that shit? You know, that's where the ignorance came in. But there was fear, bro. I was scared for a while. I ain't gonna lie. I got letters. Dude, I was playing with Cypress Hill.
You received direct letters saying that you're
Yeah, through SAG and through my agents. I never got into my house because nobody knew where I lived. But my agents, Screen Actors Guild, and then just publicly through Universal Studios, through Edward Olmos, through whatever. And it got to the point I was living.
What exactly did the letter say?
Watch your back. We're coming after you.
Wow.
Shit like that. I won't go into specifics.
Right.
But pretty much that's it. You know?
Did you ever have,
and you know, like I said,
did you ever have any conversations with Edward about the situation?
Oh yeah. Plenty of them, plenty. He used to tell me this was I was living in Santa Ana in Orange County with my girl. And there was this big thing, can't remember what park it was at. And it was a big, you know, like a truce type of thing with the gangs in Santa Ana and Orange County and Victory Outreach and all that stuff. And I was a special guest. And I was with Cypress Hill at the time, and my man Steve Oriol, who's Joker, you know, the LA Originals, one of the geniuses of LA, at the time was working with Cypress, with House of Pain, from Dubious, blah, blah. And I called him and I said, listen, I got to do this thing, Santa Ana. I need some people with me. He's like, got you, homie. So he came down with a bunch of the homeboys from Cypress, the real homeboys, and they were in my house the day of. And my cell phones were just barely coming out. And I was in my house, and I get a call from Omos. And he says, hey, you're supposed to do this thing tomorrow. I see. Kid Frost was supposed to be there, too. Frost never showed up. It was like an event, right? So he goes, don't go. I said, well, I'm already committed. You know, it's a church thing for these guys. You know, I'm Catholic, but I hope. He goes, don't go. I said, okay. He goes, you know what's going on? I go, yeah. He goes, it's not a good idea for you to go. I said, cool. So I called Steve, and I said, yo, Steve, what do you think? And he goes, if Omos says don't go, homie, don't go. And I've heard some shit on the street, even in LA. He goes, fuck it ain't worth it. Let's not do shit. He goes, come on, get in the car. We'll go to fucking LA, and we'll go play. I wanted to fucking hanging out with Ralph and the Mexican and Julio and Tony G, the guy that we saw up in Metal Man's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I don't think you were there when Tony was performing. All the K-Day guys, and we wanted to just jamming. Well, come to find out, that afternoon on the news, a big old fucking shootout. The truce went out the window. It was fucking, you know, a few people died, and blah blah blah. So, you know, at that moment, I said, I ain't doing shit no more. I'm not going nowhere. I'm relaxing. And when our agent called me for an audition, I go, make sure it's a real one.
Right.
You know,
wow, man.
You never know. You know. So I laid low for a while, and then, you know, right after that, it was when Mi Vida Loca came through. But yeah, man, let me tell you, it was not touchy go. I wasn't. I'm not a punk, but nigga, you threaten my life, my ass is staying right the fuck where I'm at. I'm not gonna take no damn chance. You know.
I saw this Vlad interview, right? that Danny Trejo
Mm-hmm.
did, and he was talking about how he basically saved Edward's life by talking to the second in command of the Mexican mafia.
Not true.
It's not true?
Not true. Not true. He talked
But
to
you
him.
got a relationship with Danny, right?
Yeah, it's not true. He might have said some shit, but here's the thing. And this thing here, and Danny, if you're watching this, I love you. Don't get me wrong. You claim that you're not affiliated, but what power do you have with the second head? Well, not the second head, the head, which was Joe Morgan before he died. Well, how much power do you have to talk to him, and he's going to listen to you if you're not affiliated? For one, okay. For two, I know Danny did his time. Danny's a great dude. And maybe he did say something that tried to help, that helped a little bit. But as far as saving his life, nah. Because even after that, there was a bunch of indictments that went through that, you know, when we did Selena, it was all over the news. Eddie was on the news. We were filming in San Antonio, and we had a restaurant. It was myself, Richard Coca, the kid that played Mundo, who worked with me on Selena. And we're sitting in a restaurant watching the news, and all of a sudden the indictments went through where they indicted the whole, like 15 dudes of the Mexican mafia for extortion, including Joe Morgan, JD. And that made the shit even worse after American Me, you know? So we're sitting there, and the first thing they show is the scene of us three walking again to Juvenile Hall. So I was like, dude. And we're in Texas, you know, Texas got their little, you know, posse of them and Texas Syndicate and shit and whatnot. So I'm like worried. We're at this restaurant, fucking everyone in the news, pat, we're in these fucking big screens. All you see is almost, you know, blah, 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 7 members of the Mexican mafia indicted on racketeering and fucking extortion and blah, blah, blah. So that pissed them off even more. You know, a few months later, Joe Morgan winds up dying from cancer and shit, or who knows why. But he's still whoever was in charge after that. You know, the Green Knight was still there. You know, I don't know if he still exists to this moment, but, you know, Eddie's very careful, you know. I'm good, you know, I don't go anywhere without, you know, watching where I go. You already saw what happened over there. You know, I had some good friends whose affiliations will not be mentioned, but, you know, look after me.
Right.
Without me knowing that they were there for me. I did not know that. But, you know, I got people that will say, you know, you're going here, you got to be careful. And that's what it is. I'm not.
Okay, so Danny seems like a real stand-up guy, right? Why would
Danny's a great dude. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And why would he say something like that if do you think that he was just
there was a little. But
do you think that it was a little exaggerated or like?
To be honest, I don't know what that whole conversation was about. I saw that interview. I asked if you recall the interview, he also talked a little bit of shit about Eddie.
Right.
You know, and they're good friends. You know, I don't know if it was something, you know. I think that was the interview he did with what's his name from Jackass, right? With whatever Steve-O.
No, he did one with Steve-O, and he did one with Vlad too, and he basically said the same thing, similar things, and
the same shit, right? I don't know, to be honest, because I wasn't there for that. From my knowledge, it didn't happen.
Gotcha.
And believe me, my knowledge is pretty well, you know, verified in a sense, because I was there throughout a lot of the beginning process of making this movie. Now, as far as going to the prison and talking to them, no. And I'm pretty sure that Danny did have a lot to do with you know, helping us get in there and helping Eddie. You know, he probably put him on the map with Morgan and all that shit, which is cool. But the fact that, you know, he saved his life, I don't know. You can't say neither here nor there.
And
I don't believe so because,
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't believe that's really what happened. I mean, he might, like I said, he might have put in a good word. Yes, I can't say for a fact because I can't tell you, Panda, and I say, yo, Panda, you said this and that. I don't know if you said it or not. You know, I wasn't behind closed doors with you. Let's say you and Cuban talking about something that's personal. And Cuban says, oh, Panda did this, Panda said this, or you say, yo, Cuban did an interview and did this. Cool, I get it. But I wasn't there for that. So I can't say that for sure. But my personal knowledge, as far as saving his life, nah. I think it had a lot to do with, they probably had an issue at one time together. And the anger, you know, when people are angry, they say stupid shit.
And you're still really close with Edward today, right?
Oh, yeah. I just spoke to him when we were in LA, I spoke to him. When we did UrbanCon, I spoke to him real briefly.
And he's never spoken to you about that, about Danny doing that or anything?
No, because I've never asked.
Gotcha.
Never asked him, but if I was to, he'd tell me. And that's something we would talk about personal, not on the phone. You know, that's something, I see him say, Dad, hey, let me tell you something, man. I get a lot of fucking, not flat, but I get a lot of questions about this. You know, and I know, I told him too, I said, from what I know, that didn't happen. He'll tell me, you know what, fuck it. And as soon as he looks and gives me a look with that little smile he has of it, I can tell if he's, I can tell he's going to tell me, you already know the truth. You know?
Right. So eventually, American Me just like blows you up, right? And you're like recognized in public now. And tell us the story about Tupac and Ice Cube.
Shit with Pac and Ice Cube was crazy. I was at a concert at Universal Studios back then, the amphitheater, and I was with a friend of mine, Orlando Cepeda Jr. His father is one of the greatest of all time in Puerto Rico, Orlando Cepeda Sr. So Orlando and I became, we know each other since we were kids. So he takes me to this concert at Jethro Tull. I knew who Jethro Tull was. I've heard the name, but I didn't fucking know the music. So I go, we're sitting there, and I go to this fucking bathroom. I gotta go from the pit, which is all the way fucking down here, That's when I gotta go to the bathroom. I want to smoke a blunt. Because they were all smoking at the pit, and Jethro Tull had a throat problem at the time. He smoked weed. He said, "Oh, you motherfuckers, stop smoking here because you want me to keep singing. Let's just come in and blah, blah." Thank God I hadn't been smoking yet. So I told Andy, that's what I did. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to the back. I'm going to fucking puff blunt. He said, go. So I go. Before I go to the bathroom and taking a leak, and Boys in the Hood already come out. American Me had just come out too. Like, did it? Yeah. So I'm in the bathroom doing my thing, and I look, and they have a divider between the urinals, and it was just three dudes. It was two, right? I thought it's just me and Cuban. I looked. I said, "What's up, man?" And he goes, "What's up, bro?" I said, "Man, Cuban, man, big fan. You house the fucking Boys in the Hood." And they hit to me, "Nigga, fucking Boys in the Hood was shit next to you guys." I said, "What?" And he's telling me about American Me. I said, "Cool, man. That's what's up, bro." And then he went to shake my hand. I said, "Nigga, wash your hands first, bro." He started cracking up. They both washed their hands. And who come out the stall? Pac. And Pac had like a little baby fro at the time. He wasn't shaking. He was with Digital Underground. And he comes out, like Cuban Link, that fucking deep ass voice. Shit. And and I was like, oh shit. And Pac was not big yet. He was with Digital Underground. I used to say he was with
But you recognized them though.
Oh yeah. I knew who he was.
Okay.
I knew who he was. And he knew who I was, which was even better. And we started talking, the fact, and he goes, "My nigga." And I said, "My nigga, what's up?" And that wasn't one of the other things. Like we were talking about the N-word before. Depends on who says it to you, who and how and where. And I was like, all right, cool. Give me a hug. We talked. We exchanged, we had the fucking, what the fuck was it called? The Motorola two-way pages back then.
Wait. But at this time, though, Juice had already been out, though, right?
Juice had just come out.
Oh, okay.
Boys in the Hood was out first, I think. I can't remember what came out with, man. That's a long time ago. But anyway, we spoke, and then after that, we stayed in touch. And Cuban and I knew each other anyway because of the Cypress Hill shit. When Cuban Be Real with Tight and Muggs and all those guys, and I was playing with Cypress Hill, so I was traveling with Soul Assassins for a bit. And then after American Me, my friend Steve Wilcox, the guy that played JD, did a movie with Pac. I think I can't remember what it's called. It was him and Jim Belushi. They played Undercover Cops or some shit. So he comes and tells Steve Wilcox, he says, "Yo," Steve didn't know he knew who Pac was, but he didn't know that Pac knew me or he knew about the movie. And when they called cut, Steve was funny because he said, "Dude," he just pulled me aside. I thought I was doing something wrong, and he grabbed me by my arms and said, "Come here, I want to talk to you." And he goes, "I know that motherfucker's a gangster, but Steve's from Venezuela, Punk neither." So he goes, I squared up. I was ready to get fucking, I was ready to start swinging. I said, "Nah, it's not for all that." So apparently he had mentioned something about the movie. I said it was his favorite movie of all time, about American Me, and Steve was like, "Wow, that's cool." He goes, "Dude," he goes, "and I know your boy Punch. Me and Punch go back a long time." And he goes, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Give him my number because we lost contact." He gave him this, so he gave Steve his number and blah, blah, blah. And at that point, he wanted me and Steve to go do the video with him and Dre, California Love.
Wow.
And I couldn't do it for some, I don't know what. I was in New York. I don't know where I was. I wasn't able to go to shoot, to be part of the video. But I talked to Pac. And I was like, "Damn, man, I had just left." Oh, I was going to Texas to do Selena. That's what it was. I was in Texas doing Selena. So I couldn't make it the day they were shooting. And Steve didn't need it, so Steve goes, I'm not going if you're not going. I said, well, go. He goes, nah, I'd be the only stupid looking white guy there. I go, nah, man, don't hook you up. It's apocalyptic type shit. You look like fucking Mad Max. I don't know what he wanted to do, what they want to do, but him and Dre asked me to come and do it. And they wouldn't pay and all that shit, but and that was probably one of the last times I talked to Pac after that. You know, soon after that, I think I might have seen him once or twice somewhere, just real at a restaurant, real quick, hugged. We talked for a minute, and that was it. But after that, you know, his demise came, and Cube was here in Tampa. It was like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. We had a great fucking time, man. We had a great conversation. He treated me like a king. He had a show out here at it's a freestyle show. He came over with a ex-girlfriend of mine who was performing as well, and it was fun. But we spoke about a few things, you know. As a matter of fact, there's something down the line, hopefully with Cube that we're working on.
Oh damn! Wow, man.
It's not solidified yet, but you know, it's at the point where I gotta make that move real quick when I get back to LA and have a sit down.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But like you were saying, right? So, Boys in the Hood did come out first. Then it was Juice, and then a month.
Was Juice.
No, I think 2 months later, American Me comes out. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. But they had seen American Me. Cuba had seen pieces and bits of American Me because they were doing their dubbing and their looping the same studio we were doing ours at Universal. So they were in the next soundstage. So they would sneak in and watch some of our shit while they were editing. So I was just saying, yo, that movie's a shit. And I think they went to one of the pre-screenings. I think Cube did. Because remember, Universal, I think Cube was with Universal at one point or something, where that was Frost, where Frost was doing the soundtrack for American Me as well, the last film, Ain't No Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said that about American Me, I was like, what? It took me off guard, you know? And I was like, all right, cool. And then you know, much later, we run into each other again, and the whole movie was out, and blah, 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 and all the controversy, because I remember we did a bunch of radio shows together. It was just like a mixed group. There was the Rodney King riots and all that shit. So, you know, we're trying to increase the peace, stop the violence, increase the peace. That was the slogan, man. And we did a lot of community service stuff.
It's so crazy because, like you said Tupac loved American Me so much, right? That he went on to sample JD when he said, "When we were kids, belonging felt good."
What was that on?
It was on Death Around the Corner.
That's right. Okay, so look. So this is what I'm telling you. Look who he sampled. Steve Wilcox, Young JD. When we were young, everything, whatever.
Yeah, belonging felt good.
And they wanted to do that movie together.
Feels even better.
Yeah, and that was the movie that they had done a movie together. That's what I was telling you. And it was crazy as shit. And that's what he wanted us to do, California Love. I think, you know, I was like, damn, man. Imagine that shit would have happened. I would fucking been in heaven, man.
That would have been crazy.
In the sense that, you know, I was playing music anyway. You know, I was with Cypress when we were fucking kicking ass left to right. I was a solo assassin in a sense. But, you know, if you think about it in retrospect, you think about it, fuck, you know, that was a legend too. Pac was a good man, man. He was fucking one of the best lyricists aside from Big Pun, fucking Biggie, and Cuban Link. 4 of my favorite lyricists. And there's a lot of them, but those are my top 4.
Yeah,
and not because Cuban my boy and shit. Pun was my boy too. But when you listen to some of these lyrics, it's poetic. Here we go, Poetic Justice, the movie Pac did. It had nothing to do with that, but it's what it is.
Yeah, you know, Tupac is my favorite rapper of all time because of the conviction, the feeling that he made you feel like whatever he was saying, like that he was really gonna do it or he was really about it, right? Like,
and that's why it resonated. And that's why it resonated in his acting.
Right, exactly. Like he was
a great fucking actor.
It came natural.
Was a good fucking actor.
It came natural for him.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like an untold story about Tupac that you have?
You mean like him and I?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I can't think of it. I mean, there's a few, but nothing that was out of the ordinary. You know, dinner, fucking clubs, fucking getting high, fucking we had a whole bunch of chicks in a room one time with a whole bunch of blowing weed and shit, and everything was a free fall. That's the only thing I could think of.
You ran a tris with him?
No. Yeah, there was a bunch of freaks in the room, and we were just sitting there, and I left. I was like, nah, this is too much for me, bro. Bitches, somebody dropped the 8-ball of coke, and the bitch was fucking sniffing it off the floor while sucking dick. I was like, okay.
Oh my!
That's a little too crazy for me. Yeah.
So wait, was she sucking Tupac off or somebody else?
I ain't gonna mention who, but there was people getting sucked off. One Pac, two Pac, three Pac. Oh, what a few
Wow.
people. I wanted. Who else was there? Damn. Okay. Who else was there? Fuck, I can't remember. There was a few motherfuckers there. I remember if Metal Man was there or not. I don't think Metal Man was there. What's this dude's name from fuck? Damn. Tretch.
Yeah, Tretch from Naughty by Nature. That was like
Tretch
his
was
man.
there. Yeah, Tretch was there. I remember Tretch being there. I was there. Fucking my friend Isai Morales, the actor, was there. Um, there was that place called the Conga Room in LA. I mean, Andy Garcia was there, but not in that. It was an opening. For Jennifer Lopez, Jimmy Smith, Andy Garcia, and somebody else owned. They bought this place on what you call the Conga Room, which was popular back then. It was a hot spot for especially Latinos. Played a lot of salsa, Latin music, which they didn't have too much of in LA at the time. So a lot of big rappers, black, white, Hispanic, whatever popped through, and I had juice in that place. So I think we played that. And I can't remember. Yeah, I think I jammed with Andy Garcia and his band or some shit, and we were all there, and it was funny. And then next thing you know, we're in this fucking room, and the shit was like a free fall. All you smelled was weed and fucking bacalao. Remember, fresh pussy up in that bitch.
Any memorable conversations, like real deep conversations that you had with Pac?
The fact that he told me that I was one of his favorite actors and that he had followed me from like Hill Street Blues, because when he was in Jersey, when he was a kid, he told me that it's on Thursday nights, he had to do homework and help his sister or some shit, and he would watch Hill Street Blues, and he remembered me from there. And I go, how the fuck you remember? He goes, yo, dude, I watched the reruns and all that shit. He goes, you was bad, man. And then, now with me, and then I know you was with Cypress, and then American Me and shit. But he told me, like when he asked me to do the California Love, he goes, dude, I really want you in this, man. He goes, you know how much additive, how much, help this would be. So, the fact that he respected my work, I thought was awesome. And it was said, and especially the Hill Street Blues thing, because shit, I was like 15, 16 years old when I did that. He was probably like a baby still.
Right.
But and he said, yo, man, let's do shit together, man. I want to do shit together with you. I said, likewise. I go, yo, bro, I enjoy your talent too. And this is after I saw fucking Poetic Justice. When I saw Poetic Justice, I was like, damn, man, this motherfucker's bad. This motherfucker's bad. But we had conversations. The respect, the mutual respect that was there, meant the world to me. Pac wasn't a bullshitter. And if he didn't like you, he didn't like you. He'd tell you straight the fuck up, back up, bitch, get the fuck out of my face. He's a call niggas funners. That motherfucker is funner.
What about Biggie? I know you were friends with Biggie too, right?
I was friends with Biggie, but not that. I wasn't really close. I knew him. I like we hung out a couple times in Cali and in New York. He was another one that was like it was the mix of the moment. Like we were all celebrities, not celebrities. We're all in the same industry when you put it down to it. Sports, actors, musicians, podcasters. We're in an industry that we're gonna see each other one way or the other. We're all gonna combine in one day. And the thing with Biggie was I was a big fan of his. I didn't know him until I went to until we did a thing. They shot a video with in New York. Cypress shot one of the first videos. How I could just kill a man. That's when I met him, and he was cool. I knew him. We hung out. We smoked together. We ate together. We weren't like tight. Like I couldn't call. I could have called him, but I never called him. Said, yo, let's do this, or vice versa. Contrary to Pac. Pac, I have his number. And, I could call Pac randomly one day, like with you. I could just say, yo, you know what? Let me call this motherfucker. Yo, Pac, you remember this? He goes, same thing I do with Cuban. Cuban does it with me. I say, yo, yeah, fuck you. Cuban, 3 o'clock in the morning. What you do? Yo, you remember this, and that? That type of shit. I didn't have that relationship with Biggie, but I had it with Pac.
So,
and believe it or not, I knew Pac after I met Biggie.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because I remember I was with Cypress when I told you, when we did How I Could Just Kill a Man, was shot in New York, in Brooklyn, over there by Muggs territory in Cypress Hills. So that's when I met them. But Biggie was cool. Pun, I knew, Pun was another motherfucker, cool ass nigga. But my right hand man was always Cuban Nick.
Yeah. So let's get into that. So how did you end up meeting Cuban and Pun?
Cuban and I, we met. He claims we met in Cali. I don't remember. I think he's probably right because he's got a better memory than me. But I remember when we started hanging out, it was in New York over 30-something years ago before I met my wife, God bless her soul. and we hung out at Jimmy. He's like met up at Jimmy's, and then he was doing an album, and I went to the studio with him and hung out. We fucking just talked and talked, and he told me that the very first movie he saw when he first came from Cuba was a movie I had done called Tough Turf, the one I did with Robert Downey and James Spader. And I was like, what the fuck? He's I learned how to speak English when I watched that movie 100 times. I was like, get the fuck out of here. And from that moment on, our friendship was solidified. You know, it was a brotherhood. And you know, we lost touch for a little while. You know, I got married, had my kids. He was doing his thing, but every time there was a chance that we would hook up, it was there. You know, I knew he was in Miami a few years back. Called him up. I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago. Called him up, got a number for him because I didn't have his number. Through some of the guys in New York, through Gilly, and fucking back then it was Safe. So I called Triple C and I said, yo, I need to get in touch with Cuban. He's blah, blah, blah. And we hooked up, and then we met up there again, and then blah, blah, blah. And then as of late, I went to New York in May because they were renaming streets for Macho Camacho on 160th and Lexington where we grew up. So I went for that. And I called Cuban. I said, yo, I'm in New York. Well, I sent him a message for FaceTime. And he said, I'm here. I'm in Kid Palace. So he came down, no lie, at 1:30 in the morning, picked me up in El Barrio, 115th, 111th, the 3rd Avenue, picked me up. We ate some cuchifritos. Yo, nigga, we went through 4 states in one night.
Wow.
We fucking left that place. Yeah, you can tell you the story, bro. That shit was funny. Cold as fuck, too. Winded up in City Island. We were going to go eat something. Then from City Island, we're sitting there talking. He's driving. Next thing I know, Papa, we're in Connecticut. I mean, what the fuck? Wow, we go fishing at fucking middle of the night, freezing. Him and his chocolate. No reel, just a fucking, no pole, just a reel and fucking worms and shit. And he's fishing out there. I'm like, nigga, you crazy. Wow. Hour later, we were fucking drive. We ended up in fucking Mass, in Springfield or some shit like that, at a casino.
He loved them casinos. He loved them casinos.
Yo, my nigga. My nigga, I did 4 states in one night. Because originally I was in Jersey with my mom. But Jersey, if we get to New York, that same day, from New York to Connecticut to Mass, and back. I'm like, motherfucker. But ever since then, that was in May, we've been in contact ever since. I know we're trying to do some things together. We did urban content together. I'm producing this film that he's got a nice little scene in that we haven't shot yet, but we're going to soon. I put him in that, and you know, he's doing his stuff. He's recording his album, and you know, brothers are brothers, man. Win, lose, or draw, broke, stuck, or whatever the fuck, rich or not, you know, we got to stick by each other one way or the other and help each other out. And, you know, and I'm glad, you know, I got to get to know you through him. And that's a brothership that, you know, a brotherhood that won't end.
Yeah.
You're a good dude, and I appreciate everything. And, you know, I know that Cuban loves you, and he loves you, and the feeling is mutual. And, you know, to this day, like I said, that's my ride or die. It's my dog, man. Anybody said bad shit about him, they got to say it through me, too. And I know there's a lot of haters.
I've definitely seen you stand up for him too. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate that, because I definitely see the brotherhood between you guys, and it's a real love there. Even though he's
you know, there's no hypocrisy, man. There's people that fucking talk shit and say, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But when it comes down to it, and you know, you put the cards on the table, they're gonna fold. You know, I'm not gonna fold it. You know, I ain't a fucking killer. I just crush a lot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I appreciate that, but you know, and it's not too many people I can say that about. I have a few of them.
How did you end up meeting Pun?
Pun, I met in the Bronx at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. And
so you met him the same time as Cuban?
I think like a little bit before, maybe, because him, Fat Joe, and Jennifer had done the video for when Jennifer did her album on the 6th. Mm-hmm. And I was on set for that, because Jennifer and I were really good friends. And that's when I met him. And then I didn't know him like I know Cuban, you know what I'm saying? I knew Pun, and Pun's a cool motherfucker. That's why I don't got too many stories about him, except for like hanging out type shit. But he always treated me really good. He was another guy that was a big fan of mine, and vice versa. Shit, I was a huge fan of his. And that's where shit happens, you know. There's a lot of people, you know, we're all in the same industry, and it's not that you sucking dick or kissing ass, you know. Somebody's work is somebody's work. If you respect it, you respect it. And if you don't, just step away, you know, or just don't sit there and bullshit. Say, hey, yeah, man, I like your work, dude. Good job, man. Fucking hey, dude. Nah, fuck that. If you suck, I'm gonna say, yo, my man, what's up? Good to meet you. But damn, I'm gonna tell you suck, but I'm not gonna fucking kiss you. I say, oh yeah, man, good shit, good shit. Right. And Pun wasn't one of those guys. Pun was like, yo, my man, what's up? How you doing, bro? Shit. And then, you know, he was a big fan of my dad's from Scarface. That was another thing. You know, so I told him about my dad shit. That nigga bugged the fuck out too. But yeah, like I said,
did you have a relationship with Joe?
we're friends. You know, I knew him around the same time that I met Pone when they did the video, and that's when I came through with Cuban. But I mean, we were never tight. You know, it was like, yo, how you doing? Good to see you, brother. Good fan too. Blah blah blah. All that other bullshit. But never. We hung out once or twice and shit like that. You know, when he came out to Tampa, he would hook me up, call me, take me on stage. He treated me good. You know, I can't say nothing in that sense. But you can see a lot of shit. You know, I'm not gonna talk shit about him now. You know,
Right.
But I can if it need be. You know, because I saw a lot of stuff that was kind of shiesty. You know, I'm like, not my type of nigga to be with.
See, why you gotta do that? You should have just left it at you can't say anything bad about him.
I didn't. I just say shiesty shit. You know, everybody's shiesty. You know, we all shiesty in one shit.
Nah. I don't get the idea that you shiesty, and I don't get that from Cuban. Okay, so when you say shiesty, that's the fans gonna kill me for not saying anything and not asking you, because I wasn't trying to take it there. I was just trying to see that you had a positive experience with Joe, and I was like, that's good.
No, I did. I ain't gonna lie. I never had a negative experience with him, but I saw negativity behind it.
Like him.
You know, does that make any sense? Yeah, no.
Him doing it or people around him?
Both.
Okay.
Both. You know, there was a not. How can I explain that? Nothing negative toward me ever, but you can see that not toward me, but you can see that there was a level there that like an aura about it.
Got you.
That didn't, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? I know.
Yeah.
There's an aura of like, I don't know about this.
So did that make sense more to you when you got linked with Cuban though? Like about kind of the stuff that you heard, like you were like, I kind of seen, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I knew it right off the bat when all this shit happened in New York. I was like, nah, you see, that's where that comes from, and that was some of that negativity or the bad aura that I saw.
It's that intuition that you kind of felt, huh?
Intuition, that's the word. You said it. Perfect word.
Gotcha. So
perfect word. The intuition.
So what is your favorite Cuban link memory that you could tell us, like an untold story? Because Cuban's crazy, bro. People love the stories about him.
Nigga, casino shit. I can tell you 10 of them, bitches. We got fucking, we in the casino in where the fuck was it? Somewhere in Mass. It was the MGM. It was just me and him. Nobody else. That shit was empty. Playing. He dropped like 3-4 grand. One another 3-4 grand. Dropped another 3-4 grand. And we both fucking walking around. Shit, man, we both broke right now. We had no fucking money. We had no money, man. We're looking for tickets and shit. We're like, find like a bunch of tickets. Because he had some free play shit. He was like, I need 50. Yeah, I didn't have 50 cent, kid. But no, that's casino shit is crazy. But good story said, just the fishing shit, bro. Then think of, we went out fishing not too long. A motherfucker caught nothing but catfish for like hours and days. We go out like 2-3 times in a week with my boy CJ out here. And when he caught a fucking shark.
A big shark?
Nigga caught it. Yeah, big enough, nigga. It was a shark, bitch.
Wow.
That shit was the size of my leg. And he started, this is a make. And I looked at him and said, what the fuck, you Jack Cousteau? You don't even know what the fuck that is. You thought it was a rock when you were picking it up. He put that bitch up there, bro. And he's yelling at me and my boy CJ, yo, unhook him, unhook him. I was like, bitch, you caught him, you take him off. He goes, fuck you, I ain't touching that shit. Yo, that nigga was the biggest pussy right there. I mean, so was us. But he goes, nah, man, get him. So we're trying to unhook the poor shark, and we couldn't. Yo, Peter's gonna get mad about this. When we finally unhook him, the fucking shark was like this, all fucked up, and it was rocks in there. And fucking Cuban tries to throw him in the thing. Then nigga hits rocks on the way down. The fish was like this.
Oh my god.
I just said, yo, nigga, you just killed that motherfucker. He goes, no. I was, that nigga, you gave him a concussion, you killed him. This nigga takes off his chancla and starts praying. He didn't follow, so the shark said, and I said, that's fucking, what do you call it? Rigor mortis.
Right.
And then the shark fucking, I don't know how the fuck he got down, he started roaming and shit. So he still want to go fishing. I mean, nigga, I'm traumatized. He grabs a fucking catfish, same shit with the catfish. Poor catfish didn't make it neither.
Damn.
And, it's funny little stories like that. Personal shit,
So no stories about y'all running trains together and shit like that?
Nah. Him and my nephew CJ, they probably, I don't know about that. But, Nah, because when me and Cuba were hanging, my wife was around, and I never cheated on my wife. My wife was the
Right.
most beautiful woman ever, and we had a great relationship. A lot of people won't believe it, but I was very loyal. She was very loyal. She was my freak. I was her freak. I had no need to go anywhere else to look for anything. Put it that way.
Yeah,
So,
man.
and my boys respected it. The Cuban respected that all the time. He was like, "Fuck it." And my boy said, "Nah, nigga." You go out with him. I trust you. But then Cuban goes, "No, I don't trust me." But nah, no, not yet. That's right. I mean, there's still time. I don't know. Y'all niggas stay together in a hotel room. You tell me.
Oh hell no! Don't be trying to bring that shit up, okay? you had them jokes when we was at Urban Con, but you and I both know what happened at Urban Con that had you shook. I'm not gonna bring it up, but you remember what happened.
I kind of remember. I went to the room. I came back. And I was okay.
I remember when you came back the first time, you was real excited. Then you came back the second time, and you had this scared ass look on your face. I was like, oh.
I was like, yo, I don't know what just happened, but this just happened.
Right.
Actually, it was fun, but it was kind of creepy. In the bathroom, man, all of a sudden, I see all these motherfuckers. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. She said, relax. Threw me up against the stall. They said, I gotta perform, baby. I gotta perform. She said, oh yeah, you're a performer, all right.
Yeah, but you remember who you met after that?
Can't remember.
The husband.
Can't remember. Oh, that's right. Shit, that big ass, bulky ass, tattoo looking motherfucking crazy shoulder
That's
looking
why
nigga.
you came back scared, because the first time you came back, you was like, yo, you would not believe just what happened. And Q was like, my turn, where's she at? And then next thing you know, you come back the second time and you was like super scared. You're like, yo, I just met the husband. He was like, and she was right there. I was like,
yeah, no, I remember he was like, yo, man, she's been telling me about how big a fan she was of yours. She crushed you when she was a kid. And I'm like, oh, yeah, she ain't only crushed me then. She crushed me a little while ago, nigga. I didn't say that, but I was thinking, I'm looking.
I know, you was thinking
Yeah,
it.
I saw my life performance. I'm dying here in Ontario tonight. That's when I went back and got that fucking headache.
Right. So after American Me, you go on to do Mi Vida Loca, right? With Salma Hayek in it and Danny Trejo. By the way,
Danny was in it.
Salma still look beautiful to this day, man. She still look great.
I want my baby. That's my baby. I love her to death. We had a really, really good time, her and I. The whole cast. But Salma and I were really close. They say really close, personal close. But that was then. We were kids. Kids. We're in our 20s, late 20s, early 30s. But we were so young. We had fun. The movie was another crazy experience as far as the gang thing. But we went through it. We shot 4 weeks. We shot the 4 weeks, and I was not in the film originally. Allison Andrews, great fucking writer, director, who wanted me in the movie so bad. When I read the script, I said, there's really nothing in here for me anymore, because she had already casted Jesse Borrego to play El Duran and Julian Reyes to play Big Sleepy, the two older guys. So it was not for me. So she said, okay, how about if I write something and then you finish writing? I said, well, let me see. This was the first day of shooting. Well, before they started shooting. So the first day the shooting, she sent through Messenger 5 pages. So then the character's name was Jokerbird. And she goes, continue writing what you want and tell me if you want to do this or not. So right away, I called the studio, Sony. Mind you, cell phones weren't around yet. They were just beepers. So I called and I left a message, I'm down. So that night, they came and sent me a big script and said, blah, blah, blah. You have 7 o'clock in the morning, you should call, shoot. I'm like, so I went to the set, 7 in the morning, and nothing was written for me except for that scene, those 2 scenes. And I said, so what am I doing here? She goes, every scene with all the homeboys, I want you in because you're the veteran on this. Funeral scenes, shit. I was like a glorified extra until the 2 scenes, and after the 2 scenes, they actually ended up cutting one of them.
I know. I was watching it, and I was like, Panchito just in the back of the truck. I'm like, what the hell? I was like expecting you to be all, because your name is big in the beginning of the movie, though.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to what I was telling you about the billing.
Right.
And if you watch the movie in the very beginning, I'm in it with the funeral scene. At the very end, she also made sure that I was in a lot of the shit as far as little features here and there. But the one scene that was prominent is when we were in the back of the truck talking about how we killed El Duran and all that shit. But there was a scene prior to that where we jump in Little Sleepy. And I tell all the homeboys, it's in the yard. The scene is there, but they cut out my shit where, it's like the Warriors type of shit. That type of shit. And then I leave. And then they jump them in. So they cut that piece out. For whatever reason, I don't care. I made a decent amount of money. The movie was good. I had fun. And that's another movie that had a message for the youngsters. You know, this is what the life is like.
Yeah.
You know, if you see the movie, 3 people die in the movie. You know, this stupid circus, gang shit. Gang shit. The girls get in a fight over a dude. They're both fucking. You know, they both wind up pregnant from the guy. And he winds up getting killed by a drug dealer type shit. The rag gets killed by me and my crew. You know, shit like that. But and that turned out to be another cult classic as well. You know?
Definitely, most definitely, man. And then I like.
And I don't know if you.
I liked your wardrobe too. You had the bandana on and stuff. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I try to disguise myself. Hang on, my shit said my battery's low on my AirPods. What the fuck? That was another experience. It was fun. That was fun.
A lot of beautiful women in that movie. A lot of beautiful women in that movie.
That whole movie is full of fine bitches. I'm sorry, I didn't mean bitch. I didn't mean bitch. They're all my sisters. I still talk to the girl that played my girlfriend baby doll, Cristina Solis Caron. She's a very good friend of mine. She's a good girl.
Yo, I'm trying to interview her.
I'll get you for her. You want her? I'll get her for you.
Yeah, dude.
I'll call her tonight.
She's still very beautiful, by the way.
Oh, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. Yeah. A beautiful kid. She's a widow. She's a widower. Also, her husband died a few years back. She's got beautiful children. Good girl. Of course, you know Vero and Arthur from the guy that plays Shadow was out over at Urban Con as well.
Yeah. The car too. Remember when we were at Urban Con?
Yeah, I mean, Suavecito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool, man. But yeah, so yeah, I'll get Christina for you. I ain't sweat that shit. That's my baby. That's my baby doll.
Yeah.
Every time I put something, she goes, "That's my Joker bird."
In the movie, she always wanted. In the movie, she was the one with the attitude, like sitting on the couch and everything.
Yep. She's like that in real life sometimes too. She's opinionated.
Right.
But very, very intelligent woman. Very intelligent woman.
So you go on to do anything for Salinas. Right?
That was another thing, another Edward Olmos intervention. You know, I originally was supposed to play Chris, and another studio had it, and shit wind up. You know, I was in Texas for a while, hung out with Chris, with Abraham, the real dad, and the sister and brother with Susie and AB, and everything was cool. And then something happened where Warner Brothers took over, and there was a whole shift of guard, you know, a whole change of guard. And that's when Eddie got involved in the film. When Eddie got involved in the film, I told him, man, this is fucked up. You know, they're doing all this shit. Now, I'm out saying, he goes, what do you mean? And I told him, don't worry about it. I'll fix this. So he talked to Abraham and to Warner Brothers. And he said, how the fuck did this happen? Next thing you know, they write the role for the 3 young Dinos. And that was Edward Olmos and Abraham Quintanilla who had a lot to do with that. Abraham really wanted me in the film as well, the dad. So that was even better because, you know, it was a lot more fun. I didn't have a lot of craziness that I had to deal with. And
but wait! You were supposed to play Chris, the boyfriend?
Yeah, Jennifer and I, we did screen tests.
Oh
we did
my God,
makeup, shit, everything. Dude, I had long hair and everything.
Nah, Panchito, they screwed you over on that one, bro. Nah, man, come on, that would have been nice.
But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. The guy who played Chris, a good friend of mine, John Seda, he did a really good job.
He did do a good job, though. He did a great job.
I wasn't too pissed about it because, you know, Jenny and I went through a lot of shit. She was not too happy about it neither, and there was a lot of people that weren't too happy about it, but there's nothing we could do. You know, you're talking about a major fucking company with millions and millions of dollars. Said, fuck that. Even if I tried to sue, it wouldn't have done shit.
Right.
And I couldn't have sued anyway, you know?
But wait, Panchito, I got to ask you, this is the most important question, okay? How did J-Lo's ass look up front, close, okay? Because you know she was...
Bad ass.
She was shaking it real good. Oh, my God. Come on, man.
Jennifer's always had a beautiful body. She's always had a beautiful... She's not big on the breasts, but they're just right. She's very well proportioned. She's got a gorgeous rear end and
just beautiful overall. Just beautiful overall, right? That's my crush growing up as a kid, man. I'm just saying, you know, like damn. Yeah.
Well, you know that's funny now you say that. Her and her sister, Arlene Gonzalez, Rodriguez, I think. While we were shooting, it was funny. We did one of the barbershop scenes, and they were off that night, and they came to visit to the set, and they both brought this magazine that I was on when I was a kid, and it was like this whole, like a couple of them Spanish Puerto Rican magazines. I was on the cover and the whole stuff. And Jennifer goes, you need to sign this for me. I'm like, where the fuck did you get that? She goes, do you know that I was so in fucking love with you when I was 12, 13 years old? And I looked at her and said, I'm here now. I'm here now. Yeah, but then Menudo came around. I go, yeah, but Menudo, they weren't homos. No.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that shit was fucking hilarious. But she told me she crushed me too. And Arlene was, oh my God, because they went to school together. She goes, we used to go to school and we used to take this magazine. We got in trouble in religion class because we were looking at this magazine and look at your pictures. And we used to put hearts on them and shit like that. I was like, damn, that was funny. And Jennifer was not big yet. You know, Jennifer Selena hadn't come out yet. You know, she had done one or two little things here and there, plus in Living Color. But we were friends.
She was in Living Color?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we were friends before that. We were going to do a movie together that I wanted her to play my girlfriend in. It was not an after school special, a thing called Sweet 15. It came out really nice. But I pushed for her. And the only reason they didn't hire her is because she looked a little older than the character was supposed to be. The girl was supposed to be 15 years old. We were both of age. We were like in our 20s.
Mm.
This is way before American Me. She was doing a Living Color at the time. But she was too proportioned, I think, to look 15. So I fought for her to the bitter end, bro. And at the end, you know, a good girl ended up getting it. A girl named Carla Montana. She did she was in Colors and she did Stand and Deliver as well. And she did a really good job in the film. But yeah, Jennifer always so used to tell me about it. She goes, damn. She goes, we could have made out in the movie. I go, it don't matter. We did before anyway. So what the fuck does that matter? A movie's a movie, you know. But Jennifer's a good.
Wait. What'd you just say? You said that y'all made out before?
Did I say that?
You just said that. Damn, Panchito.
No, you know, we were young. We were both single and shit. You know, this shit happened. You know,
yeah.
Young actors, and, you know, we hung out a lot. And, you know,
I feel you.
One thing led to another one time. You know,
Ben Affleck, don't get mad, okay? Put him in the next movie, okay? Come on.
Yeah.
Childhood friend.
Been there, done that, Ben. Been there, done that, Ben.
A lot of interviews, right, bring up your brother, Hector Macho Camacho, okay? But not much detail is ever discussed about things. So is he your half-brother on your father's side, or?
We are brothers from the get. Half-brother, yes. And, you know, we went through a lot of shit together, man. Macho and I went through a lot of shit together. I miss him dearly. You know, the way he went was wrong. He had a lot of issues in his life. You know, we were distant for a little bit, not for any ungodly reasons. Just like he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. He was a boxer, I was an actor. We both came up at the same time in our primes. And, you know, everywhere we went, he looked for me, I looked for him. And he was like, that's my brother. People would say, shit, no, that's not you, but that's my brother. That's my father. And then, who's your father? I don't fucking know. Shit like that. But, yeah, man, you know, sometimes it's hard to talk about him in the sense that, you know, all the shit that we went through and the life he led was a lot different from mine. Although there was a lot of similarities, but he was a crazy man. You know, he was a wildcat. He was a gypsy. He was a good heart. He was a good soul. He was a good soul. Not too many people like that I've known in my whole life. You know, people used to talk about him. Oh, he's a fucking show off and this and that. That was his career. That was his showmanship. You know, Ali did it. I do it as an actor. You know, if it wasn't for those things that he did and he pulled up, you know, that's what made him who he was. But deep down inside, that was all a show. He was a good, kind-hearted Cuban man. I think Cuban knew him a couple times. My nephew to this day, Junior, is old, calls me. Hector Junior says, yo, I was just thinking about the shit about you and Pop, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like my son. He calls me all the time. He says, you know, I don't got Poppy here, but I got you. You're the same thing. I said, I appreciate that. You know, my sister's in New York. My half-sister's over there. Muñeca, Treya, Steli, all of the, you know, I guess, you know, I embody his spirit to them. You know, I embody a lot of Mach. You know, me and Mach were two of the same in different ways sometimes, you know? What
was your relationship like growing up? Like, you guys were really close despite you not having?
We were tight. We were tight. We were tight, you know, but like I said, when he was in his prime, I was in my prime. That's when the best shit happened. You know, because we were both doing our own shit. And I would go to his fights and he would come to my sets and blah, blah, blah. And people didn't realize that we were brothers. We didn't say much a lot to people, you know? And we had a really, really good relationship, man. You know, the nigga lived with me for years. I lived with him. He came here, you know, him and my wife were fucking like brother and sister. They loved the shit out of each other. He loved my kids. I loved his kids to this day. His ex-wife, Amy, great, crazy lady too. But, you know, Mach and I were, anywhere you would see Mach in those days, you would see me. Everywhere you would see me, you would see Mach. Along with, you know, Frankie Ruiz, who was a salsa singer, God bless his soul, and Hector Lavoe as well. You know, we came up with some crazy motherfuckers. You know, and the fact, you know, the drugs were prevalent at the time. You know, yeah, I did my share of coke. Yeah, he did share coke, all that shit, you know. But that's neither here nor there. That didn't define who we were. Those were just things that happened to be in the mix at the time, you know. You know, at the end of his career when he retired, you know, after all the punches and all that shit, his head was hurting so much that the cocaine became more of a medicinal thing than a habit. You know, it would stop his headaches. You know, he would think clearer, which was crazy because you would think it was the opposite. All the means of partying were different. You know, you party. Now at this point in your life, you know, you punch drunk in a sense, not punch drunk. You know, he's 51, 52 before he died. You know,
Let me
so but we had a very close
let,
relationship,
let me
very
ask
close.
you this. Do you think that like
Hmm.
you know how like football players they get like CTE? Do you think that that happened to
Hmm.
him from the boxing? Like something along those lines?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure. A lot of that happened. A lot of that happened. There were times he couldn't remember shit. Let me tell you, he had a hell of a memory. At the end, like his speech, he would talk to you, and it was like he knew what he was going to say, but it took him longer to say it. And I already knew because I know my brother. I know exactly what he's going to say when he's going to. Even my wife had to the point where she's like, how the fuck you understand what he's saying? I know. He talks you like, and I knew what he was going to say. And it was all that, you know, the brain, the concussions, you know, the brain. You know, they say when you sneeze one time, you lose a shitload of brain cells. Imagine getting punched. Not only in fighting, in sparring, in jogging, all that shit. It took its toll. It took it, and that's, of course the drugs as well. But you know, I'm not making excuses. But yeah, a lot of it had to do with you know all the punishment,
What was that?
physical,
I'm
huh?
sorry. Go ahead.
The physical and the chemical punishment. He you know took upon himself.
What was that like for you to watch the struggles that he had like towards the end of his life?
It was hard, man. That's why I told him, come stay with me. He lived with me here for like a couple months, like almost half a year. You know, on and off. He was doing his shit. You know, he would go up and down in weight. You know, and I could see him struggling and shit. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, they sucked his dick basically. Oh, macho, blah, blah, blah. But then those same people, I turned around, I was with my wife one time, and some of the same people, oh, yeah, he's a fucking junkie, blah, blah. And I turned around and said, man, you fucking full of shit. Today he's here, you fucking sucking his dick, and tomorrow you fucking talking shit. And he took a lot of that shit in. You know, he was a humble dude. He listened to a lot of people talk shit, but you know what? He wiped his ass with it. But I know that deep down inside, he was like, damn, bro, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? And I just talked to him about this. I said, your match, you know, man, fuck that shit. What happened to this guy? I said, he said to me, you remember this? I go, yeah, but where's he now? Yeah, he's locked up, blah, blah. I talked to him. I said, yeah, you know why? Because when you were in your prime, when you were fucking winning, everybody was on your shit. Macho, give me tickets. Oh, they want to be around you. Why? Because of your money, because of the coke, because of the chick, because you were macho con macho. Now you're not fucking fighting no more. Where the fuck they at? Where they at? You know?
And so
And I know he struggled inside, and that was one of the reasons. You know, he was a smart, very smart man. Despite all that shit, he kept a lot of his hurt deep inside. Not too many people saw that. You know, not even his ex-wife at times, or some of his sisters and me. You know, there was a lot of shit that I didn't see, but I do later. And we would talk about it. I said, "Right, blah blah blah." He was like, "Nah, I'm good." You know, fucking people. You know, the times he cried with me. You know, the times I sit right in this room where I'm at, my office. Him and my wife and me would sit here. We cry. All three of us just talking shit.
and your brother, he ended up getting shot in Puerto Rico, right? While he was sitting in the car with his friend.
Yeah, he got. Yeah, it's wrong place, wrong time. There's different conflicting stories about that, but stuff that you know I don't go into too much with a lot of people or in public. You know, down the line when you and I would talk, and I could tell you certain things that
Right.
should that are deep, but yeah, he didn't know it was coming. He didn't see it coming. He got shot in the neck. He was sitting in the passenger side. He was probably texting me because he had called me that day 5 times. And I was coming. I was living in LA at the time with my wife and my daughter. And we were driving. It was a Thanksgiving week, and we were going to drive back from LA to Tampa, spend Thanksgiving with the family here. My sister-in-laws and all that shit. And I got a call in between while we were driving through Texas that something had happened, but I had spoken to him like 4 or 5 times. And I could tell, I told my wife, there's something wrong with Max, because he called me every day and they'd be like, yo, what's up? You good? He goes, yeah, you good? Okay, cool. What you doing now? What you doing? Cool. And I told him, yo, me and Kumai might go there this weekend. He goes, bet, come. But then I said, you all right? He goes, yeah. And then he talked for a little longer than normal. It was always quick talks like that. But he would try to keep me on the phone. I'm like, yo, nigga, I'm trying to get the fuck out. I'll call you back. So when it happened to him, he was on it. They found him with his head down and his phone in his hand, like so. Bullet came through the driver's side. And the passenger hit him on the side of the face, took his teeth out, went through his jaw, around his neck, got the carotid, and then it got stuck in the spine. So he didn't feel it, he didn't see it. To me, he pretty much bled out by the time they took him to the hospital. They put him on respiratory shit. I'm on this fucking, damn, this fucking. They had him on life support for a little while, and after a couple of days, it was it. That was it.
Yeah, because I think they said that he had a heart attack and he became brain dead at some point.
No, he was brain dead already. He was brain
Oh,
dead
okay.
before the heart attack. What happened was when they took the plug out, that's when he had the heart stopped. He was on machines. He was living on machines.
I
The last couple of days, he was living off of the machine. So when they unplugged the machine, the heart stopped.
I can't imagine what that was like for you to receive that news, because in interviews I've seen you say that.
Well, I was there. I was in Puerto Rico when he passed. I was
Oh,
in Puerto Rico the day after he got shot. Me and my wife fucking flew to Puerto Rico like that. I was with him 2 days. I was there the day they took him to the hospital, the day after. I looked at him, and the doctor said, "Oh, you can't open this and that." I closed the fucking curtain. I told Machito, I told Maria, his mom, I said, "Everybody get the fuck out." And they were like, "Cool." I want the time with my brother. I looked, he just got a haircut. I looked in his ear, and I could see all the hair. And then I pulled the thing open, and I pulled this thing open, and I saw the shit. I was like, "Fuck." But yeah, I was there till the moment he died. We were in the hospital. When the plug was pulled, we were at the house, and they called us, and they told us, he's gone. And that was something that's another personal thing that we'll get into at some other time. But I'll put it this way: if they hadn't done that, he'd be a vegetable right now, and that's not the way my brother wanted to be. He was a fighter. We let him fight till he couldn't fight no more.
right. And I know that in past interviews you've
He fought 15 rounds that weekend, brother. He fought 15 rounds to stay alive. Sorry, man.
no, it's understandable, man, because I've seen in past interviews you said that he was your hero.
Yeah, my hero, man. It was my big brother. My big brother. My big brother. I miss talking to him. And then a few years later, I lose my wife, my heroine. Not heroine, you know what I mean? That was my queen.
Right.
I lose her, and then I got my two best friends.
I'm sorry, Panchito. I know that you lost her.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I got to do it. And I just had an anniversary. It would have been 25 years my wife and I had been married last Thursday.
On your birthday too, right?
So, yeah, on my birthday, yeah. Coincidence too. That wasn't done on purpose. It just happened. I didn't realize it was my birthday when it happened. Once we got the marriage license, we had to wait a few days and shit. So when it was the day, it was a weekend. It happened to fall on a Monday. I said, "Come on, let's go." So she was dressed to go to work. I was dressed to go to work, and we go to the court. We go, pat. Didn't even realize the day. Get the witness. Judge signs the shit. We get married. She was happy birthday. I said, "What? She was your birthday, nigga." I said, "Oh shit." Didn't even realize it. Did not even realize it, but
And I know that we lost her to cancer, right? Is that right?
yes, sir. I lost her to ovarian cancer. So I do a lot of I'm trying to get some stuff together to whatever I can do as far as support any kind of cancer, breast cancer, women cancer. My grandson, when he was 11 months old, was diagnosed with leukemia, so he had cancer, but he survived. And then my wife's stuff came last minute. Within a year of the time she was diagnosed, she God took her. And he had she did her time basically. And I just thank God that He gave me enough time with her and had my kids with us. And I'll see
Right.
her eventually one day when it's my time. But cancer is fuck cancer, man. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. It's the worst thing. And if there's anybody out there that's fighting with this shit, keep fighting, man. Keep your faith. And then when it's your time, it's your time. And I hate to put it that way, but fight as much as you can. And eventually, somehow, someday, there will be a cure to all this bullshit. And if there's anything I could do to help and join in the fight, then I'm there, regardless.
I think one of the worst things is watching the kind of like the deterioration of your loved one, like the process of it, because it's so gruesome, man. It's just very heartbreaking.
But it was not. It's not easy. I live with it every day, even to this day. I still see her. I still remember the last day. I remember her holding my hand and crying, and then I took her last breath with me holding her hand. You know, in my bed, in my room, in my house with my kids here, and her mom. I mean, our family was here. You know, and, you see this strong person all of a sudden become a baby again.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't talk, they couldn't shit, they couldn't pee, they couldn't do anything. You know, it was like fuck. You almost feel you helpless, unuseful. Like what the fuck else can I do? You know, you try, and you can't. And it's just like you see somebody like that, man, it fucking hurts. I mean, you see other people, you have friends that go through it, I get it. It's hard, but when it's when it's that significant other for one, or a brother or sister, it's not as easy as people think it is.
No, it's not.
You know, okay, cool, you're ready for it. No, nobody's ready for that. You know,
Absolutely not, man.
but yeah, like you said, the deterioration thing, man, that was a tough one. It was a real tough one.
Well, man, rest in peace to your wife.
Amen, Bobby. That's my queen. I carry her with me at all times. I got them both my arms. Everything that I have on my arms tattoo is for her. And it means something. There's a special meaning behind everything I have. And I pray for her every day. You know, all my passwords have her name. I ain't gonna tell you what they are, but you know, she's still with me. You know, my house is full of everything that's hers. You know, some people say, "Oh, sometimes you gotta get rid of that shit." No, man. In time, there's stuff that I would get rid of, but no.
Nah, man, it's still too soon. You said it's 4 years, but 4 years is still too soon. Man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know,
Anyway.
It's crazy because one of my favorite episodes of the Wayans brothers growing up was the episode that your brother was on.
Macho?
Yeah,
that shit was funny.
And it was crazy when I was doing research for this interview. I found that out that he was your brother. I was like, what? I couldn't believe
you didn't know
it.
that before?
No, I did not know that before. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then like one of my favorite parts is when Marlon said he's gonna grab him by the little curly hair, which was his, you know.
Yeah. I remember telling you, watch out, man. I'm becoming an actor. I'm gonna nigga stick to boxing, bro. I said, my man, stick to what you know best. It's like me saying I used to box, but shit. I don't tell you. It's like me saying I'm a fucking train to fight you. You gotta tell me, nigga, shut the fuck up, sit down before you get diarrhea when I hit you. When you tell me I'm becoming an actor, watch out, I said, man, stick to boxing, brother. What you mean? I'm the macho man, like that nigga. You gonna be a macho man, but you ain't no actor, man.
Yeah, man, I couldn't believe it because I looked it up and then I was like, they were talking about his curly hair, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy looks like somebody I know. And then I looked it up, I was like, oh my God, it really is him. I was like, dang, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But man, so I really wanted to make sure that I commended you on something because I've watched, multiple of your interviews, and you are always about unity in that aspect of, when you mention races, you don't just say black and white, like you mention everybody, possibly. And you're saying that, you wish you could do it for the people, as in when you say people, you mean not just your own people, but like the human race. Everybody.
Right. Even white people, man. Because there's a lot of great fucking, Anglo actors that are suffering for all the bullshit, gay, the LGBTQ. Fuck that. I got families. I got no problem with that. Let's all unite. Everybody got to help each other in one way. It's a melting pot, bro. God put us all here like Noah's Ark. Two of this, two of that, two of that. Multiply. Let's do something to better everything that we can do. Whether it's acting, whether it's podcasting, whether it's cooking, whether it's fucking walking, whether it's swimming. Everybody's one hand washes the other.
Yeah.
And when you put both those hands before you wash them, you got to unite them, right? You got to cleanse all that bullshit, get rid of the dust, get rid of the dirt, and start fresh. And that's what we need to do as a whole, as a community. Not only in the Latino community, and everybody community.
Yeah, and I love that, man. I love that you spread that message because it's real positive. It's what America really is, right? We are all here together as a melting pot, and we all appreciate each other's culture. We borrow from each other's culture, Yeah,
exactly. It's people that, I don't like Puerto Rican food. I don't like this Mexican, but you go eat a taco. What the fuck is that about?
Right, exactly.
I don't like Asians, but you fucking love Chinese food, or get the fuck out of here. No, I don't like soul food. I don't like blacks, but I eat fucking soul food. I eat chitlins. No, okay. So if that wasn't around, then how would you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all God's children.
And that's the thing that really upsets me because obviously you and I are big hip hop fans, right? And so I always say do not consume a culture if you are not caring about the people or willing to fight for the people from that culture. Because it's so crazy
Amen.
to me that people, like you said, will be like, oh, I don't like this type of people, but you consume their culture, you like their food,
Correct.
you like, you know, this aspect. And it's crazy to me.
Yeah. And that's been since Adam and Eve, you know, the racism has been there since the days of Christ, you know. Man, you know, I'm not gonna go into religion and shit, but you know what I'm saying. It is what it is, and if you don't, it's hypocrisy.
Right.
It boils down to hypocrisy at some point. You know, if that's the case, then we all gotta blend. You know, and if it turns out that we have to do our own shit, which is what we're doing, in a sense, and when I say we, you know, I'm not just talking about the Latino community. I'm talking about us in general. Then that's what we gotta do because nobody's gonna do shit for us unless we do it. And the ones that try to do it are doing it from, you know, with ulterior motives, whether it's racism, whether it's because let me jump on the bandwagon of this LGBTQ thing. Let me jump on the Black Lives Matter. Let me jump on that shit. No, why didn't you do it before all this shit happened? You know, why didn't you do it before that came up? Before it became an issue.
Absolutely, man. And the fact that people feel the need to announce everything or show everything, you know, shows that it's not always coming from a pure place, not from your heart.
It's not coming from the heart. Amen.
You know,
exactly.
Because a lot of times people are doing things to look good, or especially in this politically
jump on the bandwagon,
especially this politically correct era that we live in now. You know,
Amen.
Instead of doing it because they genuinely care.
Correct.
Well, Panchito, man, it's a pleasure, my brother, to speak with you today. What are you working on today, and what do you have to tell the people? And when you getting me in a damn movie, huh?
well, keep it up here. You know what? Hey, nobody can know who you is, nigga.
Hey, you don't think I can change my voice? They don't know what I look like. I can change my voice, and they wouldn't know that's even me.
I can do that too, my friend. Change my voice all the time. Now, hell yeah. Well, I'm producing this film right now with this young kid out of LA. His name he goes by the real Mr. Homicide. The movie's called The Higher Power.
Shout out to Mr. Homicide, man.
Yes, Mr. Homicide. You remember Mr. Homicide? I got a great cast involved with it. I'm co-producing with him. It's his baby. We're doing it, like I said, with little to no money. Our film. I got some great people involved in it. Thanks, you know, to a lot of good friendship that are doing stuff, you know, pro bono, so to speak. I have Angel Salazar, Chichi from Scarface. Peter Vasquez, who was in me, Blood and Blood Out, Panchito. I have who else? Cuban Link. Mr. Panda gonna come and join us eventually. I gotta see you. Actually, the scene that I'm doing for Cuban, you could jump in on. That's play the cops. I have Sendog from Cypress Hill playing. Mote Wadi is gonna do in the movie as a surprise, but I got Sendog on there. His brother Mellow Mayonnaise, and a few other people. You know, I get this girl out of Hollywood. She lives in Arkansas now. She was in Halloween 5. She was one of my first girlfriends in LA. Tamara Glenn, great actress. She's jumping aboard. And we have like another 10-15% of the film left to finish. Other than that, once we do that, you know, we'll see what it comes out. And then, you know, we got a good soundtrack. Got Ralph from the Mexican working with us. Some of the KDAY people out in LA. Hopefully by the middle to end of next year, we should be done with everything post-production, and shop it to the film festivals and see what happens from there. And then hopefully this will start. We go on to the next one.
Yeah, man.
And of course, I'm doing my music on the side. You know, I play percussions. I'm playing with a bunch of different bands here and there, jumping in. You know, damn, you made me cry. I'm sniffling now.
Sorry, man.
But yeah, so I'm staying busy with that. You know, I'm working with Cuban on some things over here, helping him out with his stuff.
By the way, at Urban Con, you was killing it on the drums. Okay, you was killing it, brother.
My nigga. Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I played last night before last with a friend of the Cubans that's out here. They used to work at the same they worked with the same label a while back, Danny Cello. He has a nice little band, you know, do cover stuff out here. So I'm sitting with him once in a while. Cuban was in town, so I said, "Yo, Cuban's here, let me come." Boy, I got stupid the other night. It was my birthday, so I was lit.
That's why you don't even remember the day it was.
Nigga, I don't. Yo, today's the first day. That's why I canceled on you 3 times in 4 days.
Hello.
But first and foremost, I want to thank you and appreciate you for everything you've done for the hip hop culture, for my friends, and not only that, for other people. I know that you have a great fan base, and for them, continue listening and watching my boy, because he's got a bunch of good guests. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to get Christina for you. I'll call her tonight or tomorrow. so I can set something up for you and
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. Feel free to get anybody else that's that's
No
good
doubt, no doubt,
too.
my brother. This has been a blessing and an honor to be part of your podcast. You know, like I said, I've been a fan of yours for a while, and then it got even better when Cuban, when I figured out Cuban and you were tight like that. I was like, oh shit, I've seen this motherfucker before. I didn't know who it was. But from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you having me. I love you, brother. It was fun actually meeting you, hanging out with you. We fucking had a blast. Feels like I know you forever, regardless. So,
Yeah, man.
my man, who can make the sunrise? Depend the man can. Yes, depend the man can. My dog.
All right, Panchito, man. Much appreciation, bro. Salute.
You're my man. Roll that clip.